Hello and welcome everybody to round 2 of our GT3 support series, the Porsche Cup Challenge here at Paul Ricard. I'm joined in the booth today by Daniel Verçosa. Dan, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely looking forward to tonight. You can see in the background there, we got a little bit of rain coming down here in this qualifying session. That is going to add some spice here tonight and really affect the speeds that we're going to see out there, as well as the setups. Hopefully these drivers prepared and practiced for it. The P-Cup, no traction control. They do have ABS, but nonetheless, they will be struggling here in these wet conditions to lay that power down and go full chap down this straight without facing the wrong way. And Dan, I know you have a bit of experience in these cars. Tell me how it is here in the rain. Is it a bit of a challenge tonight for these drivers?
I had never been in the rain on Paul Ricard, but I have to say the top speed is not going to change much. These cars will hit 280 kph plus easy, even on wets. And I would say taking that corner after the back straight is gonna be a hassle because you have to use the curb, and most of us know what happens if you touch a curb with even a GT3 or GT4 car. And again, these cars don't have traction control. Just take a little bit of throttle input in the wrong manner and you go into the stripes here in Paul Ricard.
Yeah, luckily the barrier not too close at certain points, as this is a test track. Paul Ricard here, we're using the circuit variation, Circuit 1A-V2, if anyone is curious and had their rule books out, or law books, whatever. 167 variations of this track. So they all ranging from about half a mile to the current one that we are on here, 3.5 miles with a 1.1 mile long straight. Speaking of other tracks of 1.1 mile straights, the Vegas GP coming up as well. That's going to be interesting to see. But nonetheless, that's not what we're watching here tonight. That's going to be, of course, in 20 days. If you guys didn't see the Formula One race, with plenty of sponsors. Sparrow, welcome. Prime, welcome. And Eric in chat as well. Hope you guys are having a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. As we get ready here to head down into this session and see some of these times. As Dan was saying, we are in fact seeing a 284 kph top speed, so 280 kph easy. All of these drivers pretty much in that range. Actually, Jacob Church in the one bigly, packing a little bit more weight along maybe with that name, but nonetheless a little bit slower at actually 5 kph slower, so not quite. Maybe running a bit more wing. That's a significant difference.
I would say it's a good shot, because even if you don't have the top speed, you're gonna need some grip for the corners.
Why don't we head down into this? Actually, before we do that, before we head into the session, I wanted to say one thing. Big thank you to all of our patrons that have supported us over on Patreon. If anyone is curious, Eric, if you can throw that up in chat. We have launched that recently. You can see all of our amazing members on screen here, all 22 of them here. Can see all of their names. I'll leave them up there for a second. Big thank you guys, and you guys really make what we do possible. Also, thank you to all of our server supporters on Discord, as well as Twitch subscribers here over on Twitch, and just thank you to everyone that's hit the follow button in the past, as well as we have smashed our follower goal, and we will make that reality become a dream I know that everyone has had with the goal at hand. So thank you guys so much for contributing to that, and as well as just being here to chat and say howdy and hello, as we see a lot of people joining us here. James Bardoff, how is it going? As well as RDE. Is that Foy? Welcome. Hope you guys are having. Also, James Bardoff, welcome. Hope you're going to enjoy some racing here tonight. Didn't know you were too much of a fan in that department, but welcome. Like I say, everyone, hope you're having a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning. We are going to hop down into this session now and see these drivers out on track. Also, Sparrow, not quite, no. John Hawley, welcome, as well as, is that Tropolis? Welcome. Thank you guys so much once again for being here. We see George Elmer out here on track, currently sitting in P2. We have gotten a few more drivers in this league. We're still looking, though, for some sign-ups. If anyone is interested, you guys can see over on SimGrid. I'll get a link to that here in chat. can find all of our championships with plenty of them to come. I'll pop the calendar up a little bit later. And RDE here came for the Lil Brazilian, and for anyone curious of the Lil Brazilian, that is going to be Lucas Mind, who is not quite out there on track right now, but trust me, RDE, you are not the only one here tonight that is for the Lil Brazilian. Definitely one of the fan favorites out there. And joining me in the booth today, of course, is a fellow Brazilian, Dan Verçosa. And so, Dan, like I say, I love seeing the diversity in these communities and them converging together. And also just thank you for being here tonight and providing some amazing commentary.
It is my pleasure, Mike. It's just great to see that our local community is growing faster and faster by the second, and I'm really happy that TRACKILICIOUS is taking some time to expand their horizons, and just, even though this is a North American community, Eric makes sure to pay a lot of attention to other drivers from all nationalities.
As we do have quite a few of those out here tonight. You can see here Daniel Lund, unfortunately no livery for him. He is trying to negotiate these curves here at Paul Ricard. Sector 3, one of the more tricky sectors in all of the game, to be completely honest, as after that 1.1 mile straight, your brakes and your tires are almost stone cold. Of course, you're going to be running very low brake ducts here, which will try to keep as much heat into them as possible. The checkered flag has fallen, though, and that is our final lap, actually. As it stands, Lucas Lichten in P1 with George Elmer closely behind, 3/10 there, with actually Fatigue even closer, 70 thousandths of a second there, separating them. And as famous Mike the Weatherman, I know I didn't make any predictions on stream, but I did make some off stream, and saying that this was going to be a fully dry session. Yes, no, glad to know that my Weatherman properties are still there, and when the time comes, I am stone wrong. So let's see. I predicted rain in the GT3 race. I'm not sure we're going to see that, as, like I say, my weather skills. I don't know who paid for this radar. Also, One Bigly, thank you so much for your gifted subscription there to Alex Afonso. Alex Afonso, a driver out there. Not tonight. I'm sure we'll see him in the or not in this current race. I'm sure that we'll see him in the GT3 series. And as it stands, we have 2 minutes. We got 10 drivers on the grid. I can definitely spice this up a little bit. In fact, I think that's what I'll do here. We'll go ahead and start a driver walk and meet some of these drivers here as starting in P1. It is going to be the number 977 Porsche, I was going to say Porsche Cup car. Of course, these are all Porsche Cup cars out here tonight of Lucas Lichten. Lined up next to him, the lovely Simnut Racing here of George Elmer, the number 22. Lined up next to him, Vadik Odstitsiev with a gradient number plate. Eric, going to be absolutely loving that one in chat. The Odstitsiev Autosports, number 73, on that podium sitting for now. Daniel Lund did come up there in 4th position. We saw his lap there at the very end in that BWT Porsche Cup. Unfortunately, don't see that tonight. We would see the bright pink otherwise. Brian Knappen, otherwise known as twitch.tv/crow. You can find him there. Some nice onboard perspective. A very fast driver out there in the Porsche Cup cars. I'm not sure how much practice he's had in them, as he is in P5 here tonight. The number 40 car going to be trying to make those positions up and slipping and sliding around in the rain tonight with Christopher Tones here in the Puff the Magic Dragon, number 691. Awesome livery there. Tribute to a real-life livery, actually, or similar to it. A little bit more spice thrown on it, though, no doubt. Lucas Mind, though, should I say, the Lil Brazilian himself in P7, the 171 Brazilian driver in the R2A Motorsports, looking to put on a nice one tonight and show some incredible racing, as he often does for us, with Jacob Church in the One Bigly, the 253 close behind here. Romaldo Jr., a fellow R2A2 Brazilian in P9 here, and going to be lining up there behind, just directly behind Lucas Mind, his teammate. Hopefully they can work together here and make up some ground early on. Nicholas Lima, though, in that Porsche Motorsports Porsche, sitting in P10 here. Last but not least, of course, the number 13 car, going to be trying to make up as much ground as he can as well. With 10 cars on the grid and 35 minutes, Dan, these drivers are going to be at a bit of a scramble.
Yeah, look at Lichten here. It is very late for him. Again, since from last race. We had Alex Afonso, he's not here. Sadly, he won last race, and he was Portuguese. It was midnight already for him when the race started, and it's probably the same case for Lucas. He's German. He's from Germany. He is in Germany, and it's probably like 1 a.m. for him. And his devotion to be inside a Porsche Cup is insane. He started in pole, and I have seen him race. He's very skilled. He may take the win.
Yeah, Lucas Lichten participating in our 6-hour series. We got to see a lot of him out on track. And was he in the Team Iris in that series?
I think.
Because if he was, they actually, congratulations to the Team Iris. They actually managed to sneak their way into the grand finals at the very end, I think. Did they? No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They sneaked their way into the qualifiers. They didn't. That's right. Excuse me. They made it in the qualifiers, which was just the other day, and they unfortunately didn't quite deliver as they were in the lone McLaren in a sea of Alpines. So.
Another big name here, Brian Knappen, Box 3 eSports driver, isn't he?
Yeah, Brian Knappen, the 3-time, as they like to call him, 3-time SRO winner. And a SRO champion, if I'm not mistaken, an extremely fast driver. Maybe don't quote me on the champion, I think. No, maybe not that. I think he is just a 3-time winner. But nonetheless, a very talented driver. Took a bit of a break off of Simracing and came back in that Yitkow's racing car. Of course, stewarded, or rather team principled, by Dominic Smedra, You're My Boy Blue. And since then, Brian Knappen has moved on to that Box 3 team, which is co-stewarded by him. But as well as Huffman in there as well. Kevin Huffman, of course, from the Box 3 community. Not a champ, it's 3-time podium, Eric is correcting me. Okay.
And we now have 3 Brazilians here as well. We only had Lucas Mine for the first race. Now we have Romualdo Jr. and Nicolas Lima. And pretty nice to see some more Brazilian representation in this league.
Absolutely. I'm hoping as well in the future to see maybe some more Brazilians joining us from the Kart Racing Brazil team. If you guys are watching out there, big shout out to you guys, and hope you guys do join us here in this series. Of course, they have some very quick drivers. I would love to see them on the grid here tonight. But Lucas Lichten here, going to be coming into that Sector 3 as we round out our lap here. 3.5 miles, quite the long out lap, and especially with a good 1/3 of it being in a straight line, definitely can feel like a bit lengthy. Of course, 3.5 miles here in Castellet, France, with 15 corners, 6 to the left, 9 to the right. A lot of the corners here coming in that final sector, as well as that first sector where you're going to see a lot of invalidations. Drivers struggling to keep it between the Mayo and the Mustard, I believe. They're lined up 2x2 Noah's Ark formation already. They still have a few more corners to go. 30 meters here of elevation change, a bit more than you would expect, to be completely honest, as it looks like a very flat track. It's a test track for lots of motorsport series. Like I said before, 167 variations.
If I recall correctly, the back straight is actually uphill.
Oh, fair enough, fair enough. As we, though, get ready here to go green, we have our 2 drivers in the front row. Lucas Lichten lined up in pole position. Next to him will be George Elmer. I'm Mike Nause in the booth. Joined with me is Dan Verçosa as we have a wet green flag here as the flags get ready to fly, and we head to the first chicane. It's a smashing start for the BWT behind, and then we're going to go immediately 3 wide, heading now in towards the first chicane. It's going to be a quick left-hander followed up by a right-hander. You can see Lucas Lichten off to a good advantage, but late on the brakes goes Stitsiev. Way late on the brakes goes the R2A2 Porsche behind, and you can see some bumping and bang and lots of cars stranded off. George Elmer, Daniel Lund. Bit of chaos here on the first lap, Dan.
Mike, I don't know if you saw, Nicolas Lima just got 7 positions on turn 1.
Holy smokes. Lucas Mind as well, gaining 3 positions. So some drivers off to a smashing start here tonight. They need to hold on. Misjudging the braking zone, though. That goes Brian Knappen off the track. You can see. Was there some damage picked up on that Porsche? I'm not sure. Wow, though, the wet conditions have really thrown a wrench into the equation. I'm not sure the drivers practiced for this one tonight, Dan.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. There's a lot of chaos going on in the back. The cars are already spread out, and we see Listen already with a fight with Osisiev. It is going to be very, very chaotic, even for the first place fight.
No doubt. And Steven Tomazic coming in big, gifting 1,000 bits. That's the word we're looking for here. 1,000 bits. Thank you so much, Steven. Gaining the 5K bit badge. And chat absolutely loving what they're seeing here. Bit behind here, we have Daniel Lund on the tear. Lucas Mind, who made up a lot of positions at the beginning, needs to hold on to them. Is he proving to be that wet driver that we're looking for tonight? Lovely R2A2 livery, but it's under threat here right now as we head through the final few corners. Dan onto the back, or onto the next lap, completing lap 1 here tonight. Not the cleanest at the start. You can see a big send from that Porsche, and it is going to get the job done, in fact. Nicely done. Lucas Mind maybe not quite ready for that.
Yeah, you can clearly see the damage on the side, on the left door on Lund's car.
Very fascinating, and we'll see if he can manage to keep that to a minimum here, but a nice fight for P1. Vadik is on a charge. The Adstitsi of Autosports.
Vadik's car is a bit slippery. We saw it right there. He's hungry for that P1.
Uh-oh. Lucas Mind facing the wrong way on track. What has happened here? It looks like there must have been contact. Lucas Mind currently in a bit of a, on the replay here, a bit of a sandwich. You can see heading through the first chicane, touches that curb on the inside, and onto the throttle too early, and the car just pirouettes. A self-inflicted mistake there for Lucas Mind, and he is going to be kicking himself for that one.
That's tragic. Just a little bit too much throttle at the exit. It's very easy to do that in a Porsche Cup on dry conditions, even more on wet tires and all this rain coming out.
One driver is going to have to yield here before we reach that right-hander, and I do not believe it's going to be Lucas. Lucas on the inside, though, needs to be cautious if Vadik does try to carry that speed. You can see the back end of those two cars just gripping up perfectly. Vadik going for the switchback into the quick right-handers. He needs to be very careful, get the car stopped in time. Is going to manage to do so. So far, though, carrying on in that very poor vision. We can hop on board here and see the lack thereof what Vadik is seeing. The conditions not too poor as it stands. And actually, I think the cameramen have the wrong filter here installed, but we do not care about that right now. Lucas Lichten on the throttle too early. No traction control for the assist there. And that is going to give the position right there to Vadik. Also, Wilson Fernandez in chat, welcome. And is Lucas on slick tires? I don't know. I don't think so. We can use the tip that Dan taught us. Was it Dan? Dan, you taught us the trick with
tech.
Yes, the new tech. Yes, it was you. But we're going to check on that a little bit later. As you can see, this position change for P1 again. Lucas Lichten with very good pace, able to get the Adstitsi of Autosport car dispatched there into the first chicane, and looks like he has some pace behind it to walk away. Lucas Mind is in the pits. I think he did take dry tires. Bold strategy calls.
Yeah, the track is damp, so it's not optimal at all to take slicks. I don't know if he saw the forecast on the HUD, which is it's a little mistake by him, but I still have faith. Come on, a little Brazilian. He probably has something up his sleeve.
I definitely would never count Lucas Mind out, as actually he has the tied for the fastest car in a straight line. Vadik Otsitsiev as well. He is at 279 kph down the straight. Followed up behind him will be George Elmer with 277. And looking at Lucas Lichten here, he's actually going to be 6th fastest at about 4 kph slower. That's about 1 mile, a little over 1 mile an hour slower down the straights. So Vadik needing to get the run there. If he can get close enough through Sector 1 and able to keep that slipstream, he should be able to tuck out and just with his raw speed alone gain that overtake, but he may not need it. As you can see him getting a little squirrely under braking as he goes for a late braking lunge. Nothing though happening of it just yet.
Yeah, all this fight, we see Daniel Lunn taking the fastest lap with nearly 2 seconds faster than the three next guys. So he's still in for maybe a P2, who knows, but definitely in for the podium.
No doubt there is Daniel Lund here going to be trying to dispatch Nicholas Lima, who managed to have a smashing start, up 7 positions from where he began. Can see no beans just yet there for Daniel, but Nicholas is going to be looking up. But what has happened here? Vidic and... Okay, I think Vidic overshot his braking there and gave the position back to Lucas. That's what I think just happened. Oh no, speaking of overshooting your braking, you can see Nicholas Lima. I know I said before there are 267 track variants, but now there are 268 after Nicholas Lima has made his own variant there, taking off to the, not really slip road, but off to the side, and rejoins the track safely. That is going to be a few positions dropped, though. Brian Knappen says thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I just talked about Daniel Lund having the fastest lap, but Brian Knappen just snagged that fastest lap from Daniel Lund with a 2:02.9. Yeah, we're into the twos now. Brian Knappen hungry for that podium.
He most certainly will be. Is that a little damage picked up? Very well may be after that lap 1. Can see maybe not quite showroom ready at the front end, but other than that, I think it might just be some paint damage. It seems that he has the pace to keep up with the rest here. In fact, is the fastest, as Dan just said there, of the rest. Nicholas Lima, though, would like to take that position back after that mistake, though. We'll see. Is he losing grip? I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, these drivers struggling for grip as the conditions are going to be not the best for that sort of measure. Vidic, though, also falling back. So maybe at this point, the drivers have given it their all and going into a bit of a managing phase here, keeping those wet tires to the end. Of course, though, there is one mandatory pit stop, and I think fixed 25 seconds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, takes 25 seconds for just refueling and optional tires for 5 more seconds. But we do see Lucas Mind with already having cleared his mandatory pit stop. So all he needs to do is keep his pace and let the race unfold.
Yeah, it's 70 seconds behind his behind the car in front. He is going to be looking at around, or rather the driver in front, looking around a 62-second stop time. So if Nicholas can really get that hammer down, close that gap up by about 10 seconds, he easily could be in the race again with Romaldo Jr., who is not too far behind Jacob Church. Lucas Mind easily could be back into this race. Definitely do not count him out. Vidic, though, what is happening? He is falling behind and off the pace here. About 2/10 last lap. I know that's not too much of a margin. In fact, that's a blink of an eye, so not really too much in the grand scheme of things, but still 2/10 add up. Of course, tenths add up into seconds, seconds add up into hours, and we don't have hours here tonight. We only have 35 minutes. Also, welcome chatters. I see we have some energy being thrown the way of Nicholas Lima. He is most certainly going to need it in that R2A2. He's 2.5 seconds behind Brian Knappen, looking to keep up with him for now, and as well as Christopher Tones creeping up in that wing mirror. Roofless, welcome, and Burakovsky, that's going to be Borja Burakovsky. Welcome, welcome. How's it going? And you know, Dan, I would have thought with that gradient on the number plate that we would be seeing a few more horsepower out of Vidic. But tonight, he just cannot quite keep up there with Lucas Lichten, or at least as it stands. He went for some lovely moves, but after he went off the track, he seems to be struggling to keep up.
Yeah, and seems to be a pattern with Vidic, but we'll always be cheering for him. He's a fighter, true fighter, when it comes to adapting himself to any condition, and he always tries his best. And actually, Paul Ricard it's not a track that a lot of people race in. It's pretty rare when it comes to calendars, and probably there has something to do with that. Not enough preparation, who knows? And to be honest, Lucas Lichten is very fast. It's a great opponent for Vadik. He will need some work, but I have a lot of faith on him. And actually, Mike, I see a lot of support for Nicolas Lima. I think I'm gonna give him some words of encouragement in Portuguese here.
Absolutely,
I don't know if his spectators have seen. So let's have a go at it. Então, gente, eu não sei se vocês sabem, mas eu também falo português, eu sou brasileiro. E eu tô aqui para falar um pouquinho do Nicolas Lima. Ele, logo na primeira volta, na primeira curva, ele conseguiu ultrapassar 7 carros na primeira curva, na primeira volta, e aí ele conseguiu manter essa terceira colocação. Foi algo que foi bem impressionante de conseguir ver. Se vocês conseguirem pegar um vídeo on demand disso depois, foi algo bem lindo de se ver. Foi bem algo que não é todo piloto que consegue fazer. E ele tá conseguindo manter, só que as voltas dele tá em 2 minutos e 5 segundos atualmente. Ele tá tentando se manter ali, segurando a tração do carro, né? Que esses carros não têm controle de tração. Ele tá ali, 5ª posição. Eu ainda acredito que há muito a se ver dele. E vamos ver, ainda tem mais 22 minutos. Vamos ver o que essa galera brasileira consegue tirar.
Thank you very much, Dan. And thank you to all the Portuguese. Need someone to teach you English. I need someone to teach me Portuguese, and I know Dan would be happy to, but also I don't think he would be after trying to teach me.
Well, I was just talking about Nicolas Lima and how that turn 1, lap 1 thing. It's not every driver that can just get 7 positions on just one corner. That was insane, and I was preaching about it, and that's no easy feat. And I was talking a bit about his lap times. He's doing 2:05s, which it's 2 seconds off the fastest lap, but he's very steady. He's not losing his braking points. He's keeping himself under control, and that's a big thing when it comes to Porsche Cups, that these things don't have traction control. We're not tired of saying that these cars don't have traction control, and it's very important when it comes to these racing conditions. It is raining, and keeping the car in check it's tough. It's tough and takes a lot of skill.
Yeah, when we were riding on board with not Lucas, riding on board with Vadik, and Nicholas not quite showing as much of a struggle. Vadik really pushing that car and maybe even overdriving it a little bit. You could see the corrections. He was sort of milking the cow every now and then. And it's a bit tough. As you seesaw at that wheel, of course, it generates more heat into the tires. Heat, though, not too much of an issue in these conditions. Can be if you really do push it, but, you know, at the end of the day. Vadik here, down 2 seconds. Lucas Lichten looking extremely strong, lapping over just under a second a lap. Last lap quicker. That's 8 tenths is the difference, with Daniel Lund 2.5 seconds behind and actually catching Vadik Odsitsiev.
You know, it surprises me, Mike, that the race condition actually worsened. It was damp just a few minutes ago. It's now wet. So scratching those seconds off may be harder now.
Yeah, as he maybe used up a bit too much grip. You can see this is going to use a bit of the grip up there. Let's take a look here at George Elmer. This is fresh out of the pits, actually. Or is it? No, he hasn't made a pit stop yet, so just looking like it. In through the first chicane we go. You can see, looks good. Onto the curbs, though, and just a light touch of those curbs. That car goes pirouetting round onto the MotoGP version of this track. Brian Knappen, I know you mentioned it before, Dan, here in the hunt for those podium positions. 1 second now is the gap to Daniel Lund, and I think he is going to be sweating as we come around the third sector here.
Yeah, Breckenhappen just did his fastest lap of the race, 2.7. He's on the hunt.
It's Brian Knappen. One thing also, everybody, that we actually have not mentioned once yet, don't go anywhere, of course. I know this is just one race here tonight. We have another race after this, our main event. This is just the prelude to the GT3 series, which will be, of course, a 90-minute race tonight here at Paul Ricard. So definitely look forward to that. We have plenty more action to come here tonight, as well as a nice little intermission. Don't miss that either.
And it's going to be wild, Mike, because you see these race conditions will carry over for the GT3s. And for the GT3 race, the 90-minute race, there are no pit requirements other than pitting once. So drivers are free to choose whatever they want. Any amount of fuel, any set of tires, pit whenever they want.
And also in that GT3 race will be Drew Burakovsky, and that will be Boria Burakovsky's brother. So definitely going to be rooting him on tonight. Big bro Drew. I'm going to start calling him that from now on. Nah, maybe that'd be a little bit weird. We'll just stick to Drew Burakovsky. I know I said it before. Daniel Lund was gaining on Vadik. I was not really... This isn't what I had in mind when I said before that the podium wasn't quite decided. I did expect to see Vadik on it at the very end, but at this rate, Vadik may not even end up on one of those steps, as he has now been reeled into Daniel Lund and slipping and sliding all over the place. He really can feel that pressure.
Yeah, as much skill as it requires on track, these drivers, I hope they have studied at the pit entry, because the board is right there. Any mistake can cost that podium easily with a drive-through penalty.
Absolutely. It's one of those older-fashioned pit lanes. Even though this is a newer track, founded in 1970, I guess not the newest, but still a very short pit entry. It just cuts off the straight. Is in.
Yes, and that's the board right there.
He did manage to have a very heavy onto the brakes entry there. We'll see if he does pick up a penalty. So far, though, we will not know until he comes out. Brian Knappen, you can see those windshield wipers absolutely flying on the Porsche. Conditions definitely not improving as the rain falls heavy here tonight. Brian Knappen not quite up to the pace on his fastest lap, 0.2 off of it, which is still quite impressive, all things considering. And in third position for right now, Vadik Stitsiev in front, but there is still Daniel Lund, who is going to be that outlier. Goes for the undercut early. We'll see where he ends up, Dan. I'm not sure. Do you think that is going to be an advantageous strategy coming on later on in this race?
I'm not sure. I see Nicholas Lima losing a bit there. I don't know if these whites are already worn out. Maybe these drivers will have to start getting into the pits already.
And Daniel Lund is going to be out. No penalties picked up. That could be the difference maker here tonight. Lucas Mind as well, some support for him in chat. He's picked up a cut this lap. Hopefully he doesn't pick up any drive-through penalties for that, as you can not only receive those for speeding in the pit lanes, if you explore the track limits 4 times, 3 times will be your final warning, and on that 4th one you will receive a drive-through penalty. So needs to be very cautious there. 34 seconds though behind Christopher Tones. Definitely in that wheelhouse of Romaldo Jr. when he comes in. I think he has closed that gap enough to be in front of him come the pit lane. He's really pushing that Porsche and lapping 2 seconds a lap quicker last lap than Romaldo.
Yeah, Romaldo is still yet to pit. We'll see how that fight will go against Jacob Church.
And that was Vadik coming into the pits. You can see it's such a sudden entry. Comes up so fast on you, especially when you get tunnel visioned here. No, you've heard the term, well, I don't know if you have. One of the terms I taught in driver's ed when I was in school was, of course, that highway blindness, when you travel at the speeds, the highest speeds, you know, you get into that sort of tunnel vision mindset. And here at Paul Ricard, the 1.1 miles straight, these cars are going to be banging off that rev limiter by the end. And that can get a little bit entrancing sometimes. You can fall into a bit of a haze and speed. You know, you come into that pit lane, as Dan said, that board is right there, and you have to be ready to come to an almost complete stop. Vadik, though, we'll see where he comes out in relation to Daniel. Daniel coming across the line now. It looks like that undercut may have been the stronger strategy here, as he is going to be gaining on Vadik by a good margin. Vadik way behind Daniel. As well, I think we are going to start to see most of our drivers come in. There is no pit window, so the drivers are free to pit whenever they would like. They could pit on the first lap if they want. They could pit on the last lap or anywhere in between. Lucas Lichten, our race leader, has yet to come in. And Romaldo, I think, has had just a small offing here. What has happened to Romaldo Jr.? You can see him creeping back onto track. Let's take a look here from the onboards. I think that's going to be our best camera angle. Such a slow and lazy crash, or spin. No crash, luckily.
Well, that was risky. Coming back into the track on the wrong way like that. Assetto Corsa does not like you going to reverse on these conditions, on off track especially. It's very easy to get a disqualification out of that.
Yeah, I actually saw that very recently. In fact, I think we saw that in our last Trackalicious race. Jason Provolone, the Stinky Cheese Man himself, is in chat. Welcome, Provolone. Hope you're having a lovely evening. One thing that I have also not mentioned here tonight is that we not only have Porsche Cup, we not only have our GT3 Championship, but that's the wrong button. We also have our special events coming up on the 11th. It's going to be our mixed class Watkins Glen 6 hours. So make sure you guys are signed up for that 6 hours at the Glen with both GT3s and GT4s on the track. I am so looking forward to that one. On to our other series, of course, we also have our Rookie Series and GT4 Open. That's going to be on Monday with Rose Gaming. Steven Tomazik in chat. You can see he will be joining me for that. And, of course, Rookie League is going to be open to everyone. GT4 Open is our Patreon Championship, which big thank you to all of our Patreon members as well. We'll get to that in a moment. Don't worry. I promise. M2 Reverse Grid, though, on Thursdays. We just had Olton Park. Indianapolis will be up next. That M2 Reverse Grid is so much fun. We have it where, of course, Race 1 is going to be the grid in its qualifying order, and then Race 2 is set by the finishing order of the first race, and then flipped around. So very, very fun stuff there. Also, of course, thank you so much to all of our Patreon members, and thank you to everybody in chat. We have Game for Forza. Thank you for hitting that follow button. As well as all of our Twitch subscribers. Thank you guys for making what we do here feel worth it, and continue what we're doing and push and make everything bigger and better here at Trackalicious. So thank you guys so much. Now back onto the action. Oh no.
Ooh. Yeah, Romualdo is not having a good time, and it's nearly the same corner.
Definitely the wet conditions catching Romaldo out here tonight. Daniel Lund. This is a battle for the presumably the race lead, actually, with Daniel Lund and Lucas Lichten. Lucas Lichten was leading the race before we came into the pits, currently in P5 with Jacob Church 10 seconds up the road, but Daniel Lund is definitely smells blood in the water.
Also, Nicolas Lima in the pits now. We'll see where he'll get off.
Three drivers remain to make their final stop here tonight. You know, Dan, I know you said conditions barring that we would easily be seeing the drivers into the 280 kph range. We actually are just seeing the drivers enter that 280 kph range, so that is really showing how much water is bucketing down here tonight. It is affecting the grip of these Porsches, even with the rear engine able to lay down that power very nicely, but still with a bit of wheel spin, maybe even at top chap.
Yeah, it's tough getting that throttle. These cars, again, no traction control. And especially with these conditions worsened, we can't abuse the curbs as much. And getting into that back straight, you really need to cut both the entry and the apex to get a good line and a good speed, top speed onto that back straight.
Yeah, as Virage du Campa is a tricky corner. It's all about, basically, that entire first sector is all about setting your entry up onto the start finish, or onto this straight that you're seeing right here, the Mistral straight. 1.1 miles of flat out driving here. You can see outside line being picked for Daniel Lund. It's going to be the inside for Lucas. He should have the advantage. Heading, though, into Sector 3, it's going to be anyone's game. Check the outside line, very favorable. You can see trying to take the karting line is Daniel Lund. I'm not sure that's going to work. I know the Porsche Cup cars are very similar to go-karts, but still with more properties, I think, to a GT car.
That's a tough comparison right there.
And Steven, no blue tonight, as Dan, I have Dan here joining me. Of course, thank you so much, Dan, for both GT3 and P Cup.
You're more than welcome. Glad to be here.
And Wet Socks joining us in chat. Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
I was just spectating Jacob Church, and that just snapped into my mind. Even if you don't take tires on these conditions on Porsche Cups, you see that how wet the weather is and how cold the temperature is. Your tires will get cold even if you just stop into the pit lane. It's just insane. He was losing control a bit on turn 1 and turn 2. We saw that tires go cold as he was stopped for his refuel.
Dan, I'm sorry to cut in here, but we got to hold that thought as we have a huge change here at the front. Brian Knappen, coming out of the pits, came out in second position in front of Daniel Lund. I have no idea how. I didn't think there was even room to fit in between those two, but he has somehow managed to have a Porsche Cup car-sized gap enough to make his way into that fight. Lucas Lichten leading with Brian Knappen behind Daniel Lund in the slipstream here. You're going to have the advantage of both slipstreams, of course, in the rain. It really here is going to be, you can see how much vision is not there for Daniel Lund being that third car in the train. He is getting the best aero advantage, but still not able to see much of anything. You don't need to see much, though, when you're driving in a straight line. Down a gear for the Mistral curve, heading into Sector 3 now. You can see as he waits. I think Daniel is in one of the best, or probably the best position here, heading on to these final laps as Brian Knappen washes wide. He is on those fresh tires, I presume, so is going to be a bit colder. Then the cars are around him, but Daniel Lund has put a foot wrong. He is round in the final, the Sector 3, at the end of the straight, and is going to lose the position as well to Vadik. Vadik, I cannot believe it, has made his way back onto the podium.
Yeah, it's a matter of chasing time now and not tails.
Absolutely. And Brian Knappen is going to breathe a sigh of relief after that one. Now has Lucas Lichten 1.8 seconds up the road. It's a bit of an ask if he can make that happen, but he is going to try. Brian Knappen, the 3-time. What can he manage here tonight? And we have Felipe in chat saying Lucas is the GOAT. I'm assuming you are speaking Lucas mind here. But also Lucas Lichten, definitely one to be mentioned as well. Or no, you have a K in there. So actually, are you speaking Lucas mind? I think you are Lucas Lichten. Excuse me. Of course, Lucas Lichten. All right, fair enough. My apologies. Thank you very much, Felipe Gabriel. Not to be confused with Gabriel Felipe, of course. No relation. And What Noise, thank you for the follow as well.
Vatic setting his fastest lap of, no, personal fastest lap of the race with a 202.6. He wants that P2, baby.
He definitely does. And invalid lap for Brian Knappen. Needs to keep it between the mayo and the mustard for the rest of this and not pick up any drive-through penalties. That would be detrimental for him. And What Noise in chat, how is it going? Hope you're enjoying the stream here tonight. And like I said before, don't go anywhere as we have plenty more action to come as the GT3 main event. We're going to have 90 minutes of GT3s going around this same track, as Dan said before, with these same weather conditions. Presumably. Potentially. We'll see. Nicholas Lima has fallen under threat here from Christopher Tones towards the end of this race. Chris, sort of a sleeping dragon in the mix here in the Puff the Magic Dragon livery. We'll see what he can manage to get done with Nicholas Lima in front. The Brazilian driver, last lap 204.1 to the 203.8 of Christopher Tones.
Mike, we have a change of the fastest lap of the race for Daniel Lund. A 202.2. That's 2 times faster than the previous fastest lap of the race.
That means the track conditions are improving here a little bit. Lucas Mine doesn't seem to agree, as I think he may have had a little bit of an expedition into the barrier, unfortunately.
Just to answer Sparrow 6 in chat, it is sadly too late to join the GT3 race now. For today, actually, but for next week, you're all set.
Yeah, the championship is still open, but not this time around, unfortunately. A little bit late there, as we are going to be transferring over into that very soon, actually.
Yeah, GT3 free practice is already up. We'll be taking over to GT3s in the middle of qualifying, I think.
More than likely, yes. Also, I just have realized I totally have forgotten the cameramen still haven't changed their filters. Oh my goodness, the game looks so much better. Oh, I'm sorry, everybody, that I've been blinding your eyes like that. You can actually see the water on track there. And Felipe with a hydrate, appreciate it.
Lucas Lichten on the final lap now.
3.5 miles left to go here of this Porsche Cup race for our German driver in the lead. Of course, this is Daniel said, driving in Germany. It's like 1 a.m. for him. Absolute madman. Can show sim racing is life. When you know, I guess, how do I put this? When your priorities are sim racing is higher than sleep, you know you have a true dedicated fan here. And absolutely crushing it as well. Fatigue not an issue for him clearly. Actually, yes, Sparrow, I can. So, shoot me a DM, please. I will forget otherwise.
Also, Mike, all 4 cars at the front have done a 202 on the last lap.
Conditions getting better here, at least at the very end. I bet they wish they came they wish that came sooner. Unfortunately not, though. They had to put up with the dampness out there, and they've done a great job of it, to be fair. Some drivers better than others, it is to be said, though. Shockingly, in 35 minutes, 0 drive-through penalties. Gotta say, great job to all the drivers. Let's not jinx it, hopefully.
Yeah, keep in mind it is raining, so taking in the curves here would be very dangerous, especially in these cars.
As we see Lucas Lichten now coming around the final corner to come down the start-finish straight, as he has completed 16th lap here tonight, 17 laps, and Lucas Lichten takes the win of our GT3 Support Series, the Porsche Cup Championship, with Brian Knappen close behind, almost getting the win there, but not quite, and Vadik sneaking his way onto the podium after Daniel Lund's mistake.
Yeah, another P3 for Vadik, first round.
Nicholas Lima, P5, great result there for him. Christopher Tones close behind with George Elmer here. 13 seconds is the gap. I think we also have Lucas Mind. Those are going to be the last two drivers to finish. George Elmer and the Simnut Racing to the line, P6. Nice drive from him, keeping it on the track mostly the whole time. And Lucas Mind, last but not least, the little Brazilian in the R2A2 Motorsports. You can see not quite a showroom-ready Porsche, but still the fire in his heart will bring him to the line here, the Brazilian driver.
Yeah, shout out to Nicholas Lima for getting 6 places, starting from dead last, coming into P4. Are we going to have the podium finishes here, Mike, for a little interview?
I'm kind of trying to figure that out right now. We'll see. I'm not seeing any just yet, so we may not. I think what we will do instead is something a little bit different here tonight. So buckle in, everybody, as the guys in the truck here do work on something. But though, what a race, Dan. Lucas Lichten taking the win with Brian Knappen and Vadik close behind. You really couldn't have tighter margins here in this championship. Like I said before, though, hopefully we can get some more drivers out there, guys. Sign-ups are still available, and make sure you guys get involved. I hope this doesn't break everything. This might break everything. Is it going to break everything, everybody? We're about to find out. Also, do we have... Yeah, we are going to skip driver interviews tonight. As we head back... We'll head back into the booth for now. So, welcome back, everybody, as we are here back in the booth. Although, one thing that we are going to be needing here relatively soon for everyone is some chat interaction. So, chat... We're going to see what sort of lap times you guys can do tonight. Now, what do you mean, Mike? You're asking, you're saying you're crazy. What are you saying? Well, as we move on into this here, why don't we switch down to Stream Racer? What I'm going to need from everyone is an exclamation mark race in chat. Why is it not showing up? There it is. Okay. So everybody, exclamation mark race in chat. That is what we're going to need. We're going to have a little over a minute for you guys to join this.
Excuse me, Mike, but we do have Vadik in the green room.
Yeah. Why don't we get... we can get Vadik in there in the
While
meantime.
we're setting up the race, maybe we can have a little chat with Vadik.
He's a little late, but that's okay. Vadik, welcome. Better late than never, I suppose. We can get a little interview with you real quick while we wait for our drivers to type or for our chatters to type exclamation mark race in chat and get involved here. But Vadik, I don't think you expected to be on the podium there, did you? He's not. Hello, Vadik?
Is he here? I saw him unmuted. He might mic for a second. Maybe he's still setting things up. But yeah, Vadik, congratulations. Another P3. Got a P3 on the first round. Another one today. And how does it feel to be on that little sandwich that happened at the end of the race? Hello.
Vadik, okay, well, we
do have
also have
Lucas
Lucas
here,
Lichten as well. But one more thing, everybody, exclamation mark race. We got 7 drivers in chat. We're going to roll this here. We are running out of time. I think we're going to skip driver interviews this time around. So, Lucas, thank you very much. Trust me, Dan, it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it, okay? If Dan, you got to get in here too. Come on, Dan. Exclamation mark race in chat, everybody. We're going to start the timer. We have 1 minute left, so everybody needs to get in on this. Before we head on into our main event tonight. Apologies to the drivers for the no driver interviews tonight. You guys got to get on it because we are on a time crunch here tonight. That's the one thing that we are in between sessions currently. So 45 seconds, everyone, to get in on this action. Let's see it. We got Izzy in here, first time chatter. Welcome. Going to be involved, and this is going to be fun. Trust me. I think some people may have seen this in the past, so it's a little bit of a callback. 30 seconds left, though. We probably could have got Lucas Lichten's interview in, to be honest. That was maybe a bad call.
We can still do it.
We're a little late now. We're definitely a little late now. We have 12 drivers going to be on this field tonight. Chat, let's see. Who is going to be the quickest out of all of you? That is the question here tonight. We got 4 seconds before we get into this. We're going to be on Dodgy Theme Park. So let's get ready and right on into this, everyone. You can see 12 cars on the grid. As we go green, Danny and Verçosa off to a smashing start. Izzy cutting the track. You can see taking their own line here. Why don't we hop on board with one of the drivers in the back here. You can see bumping and banging throughout as they go up the hill now towards the right-hander. I think it is up here. No, it's a straight line. It's continued straight. Oh, we got Mike Nause. That's me creeping up in the rear. I just took somebody out. I think that was Jacob Church. Now, I just got T-boned. Wet Socks is off. Oh, the Provolone fan club is getting absolutely dominated. Up ahead, though, we see Steven Tomazic getting chased down here by Captain Insano. Up front, though, Izzy is going to be leading us underway. The first time chatter showing a great result here tonight with Dan Verçosa hot on the chase. Sparrow, what can they manage, though? Creeping up into the rear as we approach the big sweeping dip here with Steven. Who is that? You can see Steven with the overspeed. Getting that corner, nice, lovely apex. Why don't we hop on board? Sparrow has had an accident, and that has caused a pile of Steven is getting assisted down the hill, gets righted back up. Oh, what is happening here? We got a brick in the track, everybody. And the brick is an absolute catastrophe, as you would expect. Dan Verçosa has taken the lead of this race, but gets blown by.
Incredible. That's the only race he can win. Why am I carrying a cone?
As Dan is going to bring this cone all the way to the line.
I can have a cone as a little treat.
Jacob Church and Sparrow are going to be bump drafting each other through the corners. You don't say that too often, everybody, but is that the checkered flag? Jacob Church takes him out at the last possible opportunity and comes across the line. You can see the photo finish as we hop on board. He takes the camera with him, and one bigly does he win? Is that the end? Wait, that wasn't the end. Wait, we're not at the end. I lied. This is a bit longer than I expected, everybody. Big jump. Nice air. How long is this? Okay, I think that's the lineup there. Okay. Huge air. Enough airtime for mid-air snacks to be served here to Jace Wright as Sparrow goes off the track. Oh, man. Ow, everybody has taken the wrong angle. Come on. Dan takes the cone with him, is off the track as a result, but Jacob Church leading the way to the checkered flag. One bigly, followed up by Nicholas Lima. I think that comes across. Now next up will be Sparrow 6 in chat here. Let's see. Across the line. Yes, make sure you guys report your incidents. Of course, this is stewarded. Jace Wright comes across the line for 5th. I'm going to come across the line for 6th. And behind them, a few other drivers who got last. Let's see. Steven, what happened? Wait, hold on. No, you're not in last. Why does it say you're in last? Currently, this is a tight battle of the line. Wet Socks under massive pressure with Steven Tomazic battling towards the line. What's going to happen? I think it is just going to be Wet Socks with the speed. Steven not quite able to get the job done at the end. And Izzy comes in P last. Izzy Greco was leading the race, got a little too overly exuberant, and unfortunately got taken out, I think. I don't even remember. That was crazy.
Mike, I simply cannot believe the amount of lift that cone gave me on the ramp.
Yeah, that was definitely something. We're going to pop back into the booth now. I hope everyone enjoyed that. Let us know if you did, as I personally enjoyed that. That was quite fun. But we are, of course, going to get back to the, main event here tonight, our GT3 championship. Tragic, Izzy says. Yeah, tragic. I know, Izzy, you had the lead. You got a little too excited, though. And I don't remember if you got taken out by 20 drivers. I think that was Dan that got taken out by 20 drivers. I'm not sure. But
I did get taken out by a cone.
Chris Tone says, I'd like to swap my Twitch race finish with my Peak Up race finish. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work like that. And podium interview times. Nah, not quite. We're on a time crunch, everyone. We're on a time crunch. In fact, we're probably already into qualifying, if I had to guess.
Yes.
It was all of the above, to be honest. Fair enough. Oh, man. That was fun. Like I say, I hope you guys enjoyed that. We have a night race here tonight. Wow. At least for the night qualifying to start us off.
Oh, we'll have a night practice and morning-ish qualifying. We'll see how the sun rises and 8 p.m. race.
Cameraman change their filters over and get ready now to hop on into the session. We currently have our laps underway. Drivers already have some times on the board. Let's get in now and check it out for ourselves. As we can see here, CJ Engine holds pole position as it stands. The Canadian driver behind the wheel of the CJ Engine Works Evo 2, of course, with Rousseau not too far behind. In the Jolly Ranchers, hold on. He actually made it the Jolly Rancher Racing. That wasn't like that before, was it? The melted Jolly Rancher Porsche? I love it, though. I think he used... Is this a tribute? This might be. I don't know. Nonetheless, it's awesome. Look at that. Jolly Rancher style. Delicious livery from Christian Rousseau. You just posted it in Discord this week? All right. As we also have our pit wall set up too, if you guys do want to watch the live timings, of course. Exclamation mark pit wall in chat, or it's pinned up at the top of the stream. Rousseau did manage to get that pole position with the melted Jolly Rancher Porsche. Has the CJ Engine Works AMG. I think I said he was in a McLaren before. He's over in the AMG this time around. As well, Bruno Castaldini, who has some support in chat as well. Vamos! Now, Dan, lots of names on the grid here tonight. In fact, 31 of them to be exact. Any ones that stick out in particular for you in terms of maybe getting a nice result, or maybe even some sleepers that are going to come out of the works and score a cheeky top 10?
I was about to say, Mike, remember the little incident on race 2 at the very end on Ali Raza and Skylar Lovebrink?
Oh, how could I forget, Dan?
Said that apparently it was legal. So final word, it was legal. Ali Raza took the win, a double victory from both races on round 1. So yeah, Ali Raza sticking out already in the standings, around 20 points ahead of Skylar. We'll see. Both drivers, a lot at stake here. Paul Ricard's long race, very cold. We'll see how the strategy will turn out. And apparently for new drivers, it's a tough call. I see some names that I haven't heard of or haven't seen before. Like Porshakov? I don't know if that's
Andrei Porshakov, he's raced with us a few times. Dixon Hurst is somebody I think that just joined us fairly recently. I think I recognize in that one. But quite a few consistent drivers and some returners. We got Ricky Scott coming back behind the wheel. I'm not sure the last time I saw Ricky Scott in one of our GT3 leagues, so love to see that. Anton Vaus here as well, another driver that you see occasionally, but still is up there in terms of the timing charts. Very good results so far with the CJ Engine Works AMG. And is Steven out there tonight? It's a good question. Is Steven out there tonight? See, Steven Tomazic. I don't see Steven's name out there. I see Steven Music. Steven Music's out there if that's who you were asking. But no Steven Tomazic tonight. And Afonso DT yesterday, too early for you today. And we'll be watching on your phone. Didn't see this until now. Awesome. What did I miss?
One name that I would like to see improving, sorry Mike, is Jaeger Caro in the number 20 Merc. I saw that he was struggling on Misano, so I'm really like to see newer drivers or lesser experienced drivers growing that skill up and just fighting for positions all the time. And it just, I'm a case myself that I have over 1,000 hours in ACC, and I've been struggling day to day to improve. And I just like seeing names coming off the rookie league and trying out our actual pro leagues, let's say. And it's very emotional to me to see these people just going at it, you know.
Yeah, I definitely got to agree with you there. And that rookie league, it's amazing to see the improvement as the drivers go from red plates up to, of course, we don't do the red plate, white plate split anymore, but they moved from those red plates to the white plates and then all the way up into these bigger championships. And these big championships really can be intimidating. And that is sort of why I feel like sim racing, one of those niches out there, as I think everyone knows, it's a pretty heavy niche to get into. Very expensive in general to get a nice wheel. But even for some drivers like Jace Wright out there, they're driving on a gamepad, which it's so possible, it's accessible to everyone in the rookie league. A great entry point for that, of course, TRACKILICIOUS one in particular. Very clean, very healthy in terms of its memberships. So thank you guys so much for making that even possible. And as well, owning up. And yes, also, I was completely incorrect. Steven Tomazic is in this race, and I can mention him in this series because Dominic Smedger is not in the booth and cannot commentator curse him.
Yeah, I was about to say, I did call this a pro series, but no, it's more of an overall series. There are drivers of all kinds here. If you sign up and you still feel like your skill is below average, let's say, or it's not on par with the front pack, no, you will have someone to fight for a position here. You will get yourself into the grid, and even if you're around the back of the grid, you will still have cars near you for position and to get that skill going and get that prowess going into the track, your racecraft. And that's all that matters when it comes to this, you know. You need to have seat time, driving time.
And is it overall one division tonight? Yes, it is one division tonight. And yes, this is for legal reasons not a pro series, so definitely not a pro series. A pro series will maybe come back soon, TM. Definitely stay tuned for that one. Skylar Loverink, though, is going to be out on his lap and beginning in the Gene Alessi eSports team. Unfortunately, don't see that livery tonight. I did download them. There are some cars behind the 808 here of Casey Jackman in the Rusty Plastic Co. as well on their lap. I think, though, the first driver to start a lap was Ricky Scott for the even plate drivers here tonight. He is going to be coming now onto that Mistral straight. This is where we're going to see a big difference in terms. Last race, of course, all of the cars were going to be around that similar KPH, around 280. These cars are going to be up there as well. Of course, the Porsche Cup car very quick in a straight line, though currently Stephen Poe, quickest in a straight line. What can Ricky Scott have to say about that? We've seen none of these even plate numbers out there tonight. And Steven invalidated a banger lap. Definitely wasn't the banger then. And Forzy as well says pad power. Yes, indeed, for the gamepad users.
Yeah, I was just spectating him. Actually, players are also using a gamepad here, representing the gamepad community, rising up and it's not something to be ashamed of. Really, it's very bold, and you can just work on your skills with any sort of device, honestly.
Well, as a good example of that, of course, there's the German streamer, and somebody in chat, I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about here. The German streamer that actually shifts the gears with the tilt of their head, as they are a paraplegic, if I'm not mistaken. And they, yeah, I'm gonna need someone in chat, like I say, to confirm. I've forgotten the name of them, unfortunately. But very impressive driver, also extremely quick. It's the beauty about being human. You can learn to do anything. And Jace Wright, he is the controller king, in fact. We're going to watch a little bit of an onboard with him and see his movements. 8th position already, and that's just his first lap. You can see for anyone, once again, that's thinking about getting into these leagues on a controller, Jace Wright, he is the one to talk to. Bit of a moment there mid-corner, but able to keep it under control, almost like he's driving a wheel. If you were to watch his out-of-car movement, you would never know.
Yeah, it's amazing how much control Jace Wright can get with just a controller. Look at that. Barely rubbing those tires.
Having to go for a bit of a more oversteery setup is Jace. I know he told me this before. As a result, is his steering lock is not full. They actually have a maximum steering lock there. That means that they don't just scrub the tires every time they go through a corner, but that means, though, they need to drive with a bit more of a boot full of throttle than us wheel drivers do. Now coming down the Mistral straight, you can see that KPH topping out extremely highly there, as well as almost up at the top of the rev range, up into the 280s. And down now into Sector 3, very deep there, and that is going to be an invalidation for Jace Wright. Needs to put one together here in the next 2 laps. Skylar Lovrink, a good margin ahead at a 1:53.2 current pole position time, with Quinn Smith behind by 0.2. His qualifying, though, is at an end. The next closest would be Wilson Fernandez, but a driver that has not put in a lap yet is Ali Raza, and as I say that, 3rd position, Ali Raza. And Vdeek messing up in that long right-hander. Also, V, Vivacious, welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a lovely evening, V. Wilson Fernandez also on an invalid lap. He needs to put one together here in the next 2. Is running out of time to do so. Skylar Lovrink walking away with it, but also has invalidated. That Sector 1 is so tricky. The limits are so tight, and you just want to carry as much speed as you can through there onto the Mistral, but those corners do not allow you to do so. And wow, what a lap from Porshikov as well. Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
The boys at the truck have some data here, and Skylar Lovrink, you can clearly see that he's running a very low aero. The speed trap on his car is 287 kph.
My goodness. Topping out by a good margin, in fact, yes. Stephen Poe, the next closest. The Ferrari 296, though, the quickest tonight. I would have expected the McLaren to be that, but I'm clearly wrong. And does Trackalicious run the LFM or SRA BOP? We use the stock in-game BOP, which I assume is going to be the SRA or SRO one. No, I think SRA runs their own. We just run the stock BOP in-game. I don't think we have any custom sorts here. Do we, Eric? Not to my knowledge.
I don't think so.
I don't think we do either.
Because we don't see any platinum advantage from these cars around Trackalicious.
Also, V, I am doing wonderful myself. I'm looking forward to these next 90 minutes of racing right after this qualifying session. And we're going to see this battle heat up between Ali Raza and Skylar Lovrink once again. We saw the controversial last lap pass that Ali Raza had, and after review, even I reviewed it myself afterwards, I was wrong at the first call. That was a send and a half from Ali Raza. But credit where credit's due, it was clean. Also, some love for you in chat, Dan.
Ooh, hello, Vatik. Good race. Shame you couldn't get the Discord set up for the interview.
Yeah, and apologies for having to cut that short as well. We had to get in our stream racer, you know, the chat. We had to know what the chat was capable of. And Eric confirming that, no, we are not right now, but we are considering .it for next session.
Shady website.
Yes, don't go to that, please. And Andrei Porshikov, is he a potential pole contender? That is going to be the question that we have to ask. 8.5 tenths off the pace is quite a margin with Skylar Lovrink, though. He's kind of on a different pace of his own. Even Ollie Raza not able to compete with him currently. And Ollie invalidated their last lap. Will have one more attempt here in the Pakistan Zinabad 296. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say.
Mike Burkhoff also in a one-shot wonder qualifying here. It is his last lap, and he has not set a time yet.
Ooh, spicy. Keeping it valid so far. He will be one of the next drivers to actually set a lap. Checkered flag has fallen. Any driver on a lap will be able to finish it, but no other driver will be able to start one. Can see Mike here. Why don't we hop on board as he runs a little deep there. Of course, these corners, pretty much every single corner on this track, you end up compromising your apex on to set up for the next corner. It's a very flowy and I'm not sure what the word is, Dan, but just a track that it requires a lot of knowledge to get very quick and extract every single tenth out of every single corner.
You gotta glide to the correct line and everything. It's just a matter of inputs, steering, and throttle.
P28, it's going to be for Mike there. That's it. Wilson Fernandez does end up P2 ahead of Ollie Raza, who invalidated their final lap. Ollie is going to be kicking himself there, but definitely don't count him out from that second row. Ricky Scott also on an improvement. The Knox Racing number 84 here. He heads through Sector 3. Coming around the tight, windy complex here. Lots of these corners on this track I cannot pronounce the name of, as my French is atrocious. But through Virage du Pont, the final corner. Even that I think I butchered. Ricky Scott to the line. It will be an improvement, but how much is the question? Currently P16. Drew Burkowski, he will overtake there. We saw some support in chat there for Big Brother Drew in chat, but Ricky Scott does claim the position at the end, P15. Also, a full dry race, Dan.
Well, we'll see.
You're right.
It is a 90-minute race. That's a forecast for the next 30 minutes. Anything can happen.
No, you are absolutely right. And as me, the weatherman, my prediction, of course, was it was going to rain midway through this race. And the clouds, looks like a possibility. It is not blue skies out there tonight.
Yeah, very overcast sky here. And Lake Castellet? Is that how you pronounce?
Who?
The track, the region, Lake Castellet?
Oh,
man, my French.
Castellet. Yes, Castellet, France. Is, I think, kind of near the water, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember where the Castellet region is. Even though we're here tonight, obviously, in Castellet region of France. Duh. Why don't we get in here and meet our drivers as we have it here. Starting in P1, it is going to be the Gene Alessi eSports team driver of Skylar Lovrink, the number 52, lined up next to him on the front row. It's going to be the Vacuum Racing number 888 Audi out on track, a car that I haven't seen up in the front for too long. Nice result there from Fernandez at the very end, sneaking in front of Ollie Raza and pushing him to the second row there in the Pakistan Zinabad Ferrari 296, the number 30 car. Next to him, Quinn Smith on the second row, the number 999, the Trissler Attempto Racing. Going to be on for a good one tonight. Quinn Smith, a name that we haven't mentioned too much, and I think we are going to see him make some gains here at the start potentially, but it will be down to the drivers around him. Andrei Porshikov, 5th fastest, the 696 McLaren Evo 2, next to Bruno Pio, another McLaren, the Brazilian driver, behind the wheel there of the number 14 Garage 59. Anton Vaus in the CJ Engine Works, going to be in P7, the number 99 car, with Vidika Tsitsiev close behind in P8. CJ Engine going to be on row 5 here, the 55 AMG, next to Jace Wright in P10. Rounding out our top 10 there, Christian Rousseau in the Jolly Rancher Porsche, the Canadian driver, the number 71, of course, in P11. And behind that will be Bruno Castaldini in another McLaren Evo 2 out there, the number 27. Marcelo Ramon, Brazilian, in P13, with Casey Schutte trailing behind in row 7 in the Reckless GT3. The number 444 going to be looking to make some gains here, as he is a bit out of position in my opinion, with Ricky Scott as well in P15. We saw him gain that position over Drew Burakovsky at the very end there, as Drew will be lining up on row 8 as a result. The number 19 Fuchsia Competition livery, with Casey Jackman in P17, the Rusty Plastic Co. Kevin Yu, 18th fastest, with Dennis Chavez in P19. Stephen Poe going to be 20th fastest as well, with Jason Provolone close behind. It ain't easy being cheesy, and no, it most certainly is not. Chris Rice, 22nd, with Professor Kanotis in 23rd. Ronaldo Velezquez, 24th, with Devin Anthony behind in 24th, with Devin Anthony in 25th. Steven Tomazic, 26th fastest. Steven Music in 27th. Mike Burkov, P28, with Zane Bliskett in 29th. Dixon Hurst, 30th. Ashley Forrester, 31st. Eric Akasi in 32nd, and Yeager Karu in 33rd. 33 drivers on the field, and we are going to be underway here for our 3.5 mile outlap. And V, thank you very much for the subscription again. And we need a dancing emote. Little do you know, that is actually a request that is pseudo in the works. I haven't thought of how exactly I want to do it yet, but I am open to suggestions. And Gabri, welcome. Stephen Buckley, welcome. I think you were already here, but welcome. I don't think I said it to you. Yeah, welcome everyone. Excited here, Dan, for the start of race 2 with Skylar Lovrink on pole position. 90 minutes on the clock. Anything can happen here.
Exactly. Wilson Fernandez on P2. I don't recall what his result was for the first round. Let me check.
You guys in truck work on that, of course. Big thank you to our Patreon members. Just want to give a shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. All of your names are on screen, all 22. And anyone wanting to support the Patreon, Patreon. Oh, I still spelt it wrong. I fat fingered the keyboard. There we go. We got it. Exclamation mark Patreon. If you guys are interested in supporting, make sure you guys do check that link out. We appreciate everyone, and thank you in advance for anyone that does. It really motivates us to keep doing what we're doing and push to the absolute limit and get more emotes, like a dancing emote of some variety, as well as, well, some other things coming up in this stream as well. Not in this stream, but in future streams as well.
Yeah, back to Wilson Fernandez. He did, in fact, not participate on the first round. So we don't know how his pace will compare to Ollie Ross and Skylar Lovrink. Maybe it's a little bit of a wild card here. We'll see. Big threat for those two guys.
I feel like in the previous races that we've seen with Wilson Fernandez and Ollie Raza, those two have been close competitors in the past. Ollie Raza tends to get the edge there in terms of consistency. We'll see, though. Wilson Fernandez is a driver that I really haven't seen out in track in a couple weeks, so the improvement might be there. He might be up to that pace of Ollie Raza. I definitely would not count him out, as this Vacuum Racing team is extremely dedicated and has a lot of members that really try there. The Brazilian team pushing themselves to other boundaries, so I'd love to see that. And currently in P2, looking to stack up nicely against Ollie Raza for now. And upset You loss, welcome. Oh, upset you loss. Okay, gotcha. Welcome. Just in time for the green flags here as we are going to be rounding the final corner now. Skylar Lovrink in pole position. Wilson Fernandez in second. I'm Mike Nause. Joined with me in the booth is going to be Daniel Verçosa. We are about to go green here at Paul Ricard for 90 minutes of GT3 action. 3.5 miles ahead of us, 15 corners, and we are green now. Heading now to the first chicane. It's about a dead even start up on the front row and a dead even start in row 2. We see an incredible start from Andre Porsche behind, who's going to make it 3 wide. Into the first chicane, we're going to head. And with Wilson Fernandez firmly ahead in P1. Late lunge, though. Skylar Lovrink going to make it happen. Take that position firmly back onto the inside. Moving now in through the exit of the first corner. Ollie Raza has actually lost a position down to 5th. Quinn Smith able to gain some ground there. Vadik Tsitsiev behind, looking to make it up as well. You see his teammate Jace Wright not too far behind in through the first corner. That's going to be Quinn Smith off the rumble strips and way wide. That may compromise his run tremendously onto the Mistral straight. You can see the Bullard being ruthlessly taken out. And now Dan heading onto the Mistral straight. We are going to see this slipstream and these straight line speeds that we've been talking about really come into play.
We see a car facing backwards on the hairpin. Except for one hairpin. Also, Drew Brakovsky just loses the wheel and hits the wall. Facing the wrong way now. That's the second spin already for him.
Very unfortunate. Bruno Pio here in the slipstream. You can see of 4 cars ahead. Tucks out simultaneously with his teammate. Backs into the right-hander, though. Or rather, tucks in. We see Ollie Raza that is washing extremely wide. Very uncharacteristic mistake. That's going to allow Vadik Tsitsiev to slide onto the inside very easily. Quinn Smith behind. Going to need to be very cautious, not get tangled up in this. Ooh, Ollie Raza using all of the track there and cutting the nose of Quinn Smith off. Quinn sticks with it, though. Heading into the left-hander of the final few corners now. It's going to be Bruno Pio that is sneaking up in the Pigeon Racing, on the Garage 59, excuse me, this time around. And Ollie Raza does manage to avert disaster here on lap 1, but it definitely could have been much worse. Bruno Pio there is going to make the move onto Quinn Smith. Quinn Smith going backwards on lap 1.
Oh, we see Ricky Scott punting Casaldini on the last corner. Thankfully, with a lot of respect, Ricky Scott waits until Casaldini is up and running again.
We're going to be 2x2 here down the straight, heading to the first corner. Bruno Casaldini and Kevin Yu side by side. Ricky Scott and Dennis Chavez side by side behind. Late on the brakes, or excuse me, early on the brakes goes Casaldini. And that is going to allow Kevin Yu to easily slip by, and almost actually Ricky Scott and Dennis Chavez catching up in the braking. And that's going to be one of the Devin Anthony. That's the Rockefeller Racing car off. Almost spins, but luckily keeps it together. Rejoins back in P22. Plenty of action and no shortage of battles here on the first few laps, Dan.
Yeah, it's a lot of, well, not the cleanest start, and we see a car facing sideways. That's, who is?
That's Casey Jackman in the Lamborghini.
Oh my.
Let's see what happened to them. Now, coming through the first few corner, wow, the back or front end really just didn't grip up. The back end, whoa, oh no, we're in a replay right now. Oh goodness, chat, brace yourselves. Okay, what has happened? It looks okay, but what has happened? Something has just happened. So I saw a lot of yellow flags, and here is why. Oh my goodness, Ollie Raza getting spun there, and big hit, a full speed hit. Jolly Rancher is off into the barrier as well. Multiple drivers collected in that, but honestly, out of all of the drivers to come off the worst there, Ollie Raza, I think, has that title. Absolute chaos here on the first few laps.
Oh, and we see a lot more. Okay.
Vadik is off. If I can select him, we will go back and see what happened. Let's take a look at that. So Vadik was one of those drivers that was collected in that incident. I think Vadik and Ollie were the ones that caused... Oh, there's another yellow flag as Devin Anthony is plummeting down the field. So Vadik getting out of shape and gets punted around. Now, what has happened to Devin Anthony? What's happened to Ollie Raza? Ollie Raza's in. Okay. Devin Anthony, we're going to miss. I'm not going to go back and catch it, as we're just basically going to be watching nothing but replays if I keep this up. Unfortunately, there's an ad as well. I should have probably delayed that, but is what it is. Side by side into the first corner we go with Anton Vaus on the inside, or excuse me, Anton Vaus on the outside, Devin Anthony on the inside. And up ahead, Ashley Forster and Eric Kakasian, two drivers that have benefited massively from the chaos and carnage that has unfolded here tonight. Up 7 positions are these 3 drivers, Ashley, Jaeger, and Eric.
Mike, I'm reviewing the replay here of Ali Raza, what happened on the back straight, and apparently it was a bit of a net code issue as Ali Raza was taking the toe from Vadik, and he got a little bit too close, just bumped Vadik, and apparently there wasn't anything on Ali Raza's end, but Vadik, his car was unsettled and just spun out and hit Ali Raza again. That's what caused all the mayhem on the back straight. Yeah, and very unfortunate to be a netcode issue. Yeah,
Vadik in chat confirming that as well, as he has retired from that one. Too much damage on that Lamborghini Evo 2. And super speeded into his rear end. But, yeah, very unfortunate. Netcode, one of those things in real-life racing you don't have to deal with unless you're Charles Leclerc on the first lap of the Mexican Grand Prix. But, nonetheless.
You can never trust internet connections too much.
And that
especially with ACC physics. It's very, very fragile, let's call it that.
V getting that one, I love it. Of course. Yeah, nonetheless, Anton Vaus and Devin Anthony still side by side. Lovely stuff here from the CJ Engine Works and the Rockefeller Racing. These two drivers sharing a good part of the track here and sharing the battle. Nicely done from the McLaren for now, but I definitely would not count Anton out, as he has shown that he has some pace under that belt.
Yeah, Vadik back up and running, leaving the pits now.
Awesome, awesome. So Vadik will be back out there on track. You'd love to see it. Gonna finish that race, head down for the rest of it. May not be looking at the best result, but still it's the experience and just getting to know these drivers out on track. As Dan said, this is only one of the earlier races in the league. Of course, we're only on race 2.
Yes.
Yes, okay. We're only on race 2 here at Paul Ricard, so these drivers not quite the most familiar with each other just yet. Of course, Ali Raza, though, and Vadik, fair share of bouts in their days, but still, netcode, not much you can do about that one. Here is Andrei Porshikov. This is for the podium positions. In fact, this is for P2. You can see up ahead, Skylar Lovrink not too far out of sight. Ali Raza, though, is very far out of sight. In fact, he's in P31. So we said earlier, currently our championship leader of Ali Raza is going to be trailing massively in points to Skylar Lovrink after this one, almost certainly.
I would just like to point out, Mike, Skylar Lovrink and, I'm sorry, I don't know his first name, Porshikov, they just did the exact same time. Wow. Exact same lap time, 1:53.752.
Yeah, that's incredible. Over the course of 3.5 miles, these two drivers lapping within the 100,000ths of each other. It's so incredible. Of course, this statistic, I sound like a broken record at this point, but still, the human eye takes 0.2 of a second to blink, and I know most people don't believe that, but look it up. It takes your blink, every single blink that you take is 0.2, so when you see these gaps of 100,000ths of seconds, they are such inconceptual margins where basically your car may have traveled just maybe a foot more over the course of 3 miles. Now, though, Andrei Porshikov, Wilson Fernandez, change in position for P2, and Porshikov firmly ahead there, gets the overspeed. The McLaren looking much more rapid than the Audi in a straight line. Of course, that Audi will be able to deliver the power much better, and that is a car off the track there. I think that was a back marker of Casey Jackman. Unfortunate there. A bit of an off on the end of the Mistral, but Andre keeps his head down for now with Wilson Fernandez close behind. He will be trying to pressure him into a mistake, though they need to be careful. Bruno Pio 5 seconds behind, not the biggest gap, easy to catch if they do manage to tussle with each other for a longer period of time. Lovely stuff here. Mike Burkov and Zane Blisket going at it. Mike Burkov trying to make his way around the outside with Ronaldo Velezquez very close behind. The Puerto Rico E-Racing member going to be breathing down these two tailpipes, but look at that, down the inside, or rather outside, excuse me. Mike Burkov tries for the switchback. Zane Blisket, though, not giving an inch. Mike, can he keep it under control? Looks like he can on to the next lap, but he needs to be very cautious. That wing mirror is full of an Audi right now.
Yeah, we see Mike Burkov, Zane Blisket. Zane Blisket up 14 positions and Mike Burkov 12 positions just by keeping it still.
Mike takes to the escape road there.
Yeah, I may have may have cursed him a bit now. That is probably my first curse.
Welcome to the club, Dan. You're officially a commentator. Exclamation mark. Curse in chat as Mike Burkov. I think that was a little bit, gets tied up with Dennis Chavez. I don't know if that was Mike that made that contact or not, but Dennis results in the wrong way facing.
It only gets worse.
Yes, it does, Dan. Stephen Poe side by side, and that is going to be a terrible exit for Dixon Hurst. Gets swamped up by Steven. In fact, that is going to be Steven as well behind. Dixon in a Steven sandwich, not quite though anymore. He now gets dispatched. Steven Tomazic in 19th position in that zero gas Aston Martin. Interestingly, we've had a change in terms of our straight line speed. Fastest car on track is actually Jace Wright with a 292 kph. Quinn Smith tied in for first. Second belongs, though, to Bruno Pio at 291. So the McLaren and the Ferrari looking very quick, but it's a good diversity of Lamborghini, Audi, McLaren, Ferrari in that order.
Yeah, we don't know what their strategies are, Mike. Maybe they're running very low fuel amounts just to beat early and get that pit stop through with. But again, it is very cloudy. There may be rain at the end of the race. Lots of things at stake here when it comes to strategy.
And taking a look at the weather, the next 30 minutes still predicted to be dry, but yes, as Dan says, anything can change here, especially in Mistral, France. Weather conditions, of course, I think, like I said, I think we're very close to the sea, which means that the weather can blow in from any opportunity, really, and you can get monsoon conditions very, very quickly, at least in real life. Not sure how well the game translates that. Quinn Smith here, battle for fourth. Bruno Pio up ahead, last lap, a 154.3 to Quinn Smith's 154.0. So the Audi looking awfully strong. You can see there a slipstream, though, granted to Bruno Pio as the back marker does get out of the way about halfway through the straight. Side by side, they resume, though, now through the right-hander. The Mistral curve is going to be Bruno Pio retaining that position for now. Quinn Smith, though, never count Quinn out. This man is going to go for it into the right-hander. In fact, as Bruno runs wide, as you can see, Quinn Smith using a bit more of that track there and just giving the only enough room for Bruno to make the corner and no more. But Bruno, a fighter, he comes back at it and takes the position right back from Quinn Smith as he is not able to dispatch him just yet.
That was a beautiful move.
Quinn, maybe a quiet man when you talk to him, but his actions speak loudly on track. Very chill and relaxed guy to get to know, but like I say, fiery in his battles, and you can see him. He's going to line him up in his sights once more. He definitely smells blood in the water. He knows he has the pace over Bruno. Last lap, he was a tenth slower, but of course, he tried to set that overtake up and had a little bit of a mistake on it. Still, plenty of time to go. 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 7 seconds ahead of us tonight. And Dan, with 33 cars on the grid, there's going to be no shortage of action ahead of us.
Oh, certainly not. We saw when they started the race, and there's still a lot to cover. I was about to say, Mike, we was talking about the young people and Quinn Smith. Oh, what's going on with the
pain? Pain is going on with Vadik. It's a bad day for him, a race to forget. Oh, that back end just so unstable. And he kills the car to boot. Heavy on the accelerator. Man, he fired that car up so aggressively. I think Vadik is mildly upset right now, but hey, needs to just keep his head down and really keep it on track. That's his goal at this point. But sorry, Dan, what were you saying?
Yeah, Quinn Smith, I'm not sure if that was him, but he, we could see his rise of skill and fame within TRACKILICIOUS. Back when I saw him, he was still in high school. So young prodigy, and if you see the SimRig channel in TRACKILICIOUS, the TRACKILICIOUS Discord, you can see his rig improving by the months, and it is one of the stories that it's very nice to see him getting his racecraft up, and he participates in basically every single league in TRACKILICIOUS when it comes to GT3 racing, at least. I don't think I've seen him in rookies on the pro class. But yeah, he's been here since I joined, basically. And just to know that he was still in high school, it's insane to me.
Is Quinn younger than me?
Yes.
Really? Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah. I would say he's 20 at most.
20, wow, okay, so yeah, he is younger than me. I wouldn't have guessed that.
19.
He's such a chill guy. He doesn't give off that vibe, but hey, the more you know. Quinn Smith has the run on Bruno Pio. We're going to see, though, the straight line difference here as the McLaren is up there in for the battling for the straight line speed, but not quite where we see Quinn Smith. Actually, I take that back. They are almost dead even in terms of their pace. They're 1 kph difference, so between the two of them, not even the cars. Look at that move from Quinn Smith. He is going to stick that Audi in the perfect sized hole there and make that move stick. Lovely job. Quinn, absolutely on it.
Props to him for knowing the size of his car to fit into that gap.
Look at that. Just enough room being given, and Quinn Smith an absolute masterclass of an overtake there. Bruno Pio, though, he's not done yet. Definitely don't count him out. But wow, Quinn Smith. As we were just singing his praises, he goes and shows why. Further behind, we have the Puerto Rican driver here of Ronaldo Velezquez chasing Zane Blisket. Stephen Poe and Devin Anthony. What has happened here? I think 2 separate incidents, unfortunately. Let's take a look at Stephen here. What has happened? Oh, unfortunately, I don't get to catch that. What about Devin? Do I get to catch that? No, I don't. Oh, maybe. Let's see what happened to Devin Anthony, I guess.
Oh,
not the first time.
Case. That's Vadik.
Very easy mistake to make there. Just a little over-exuberance into that corner can result in that front end not gripping up where it needs to and understeering basically where we see them. Luckily, no barrier on the outside. That is the one blessing.
I'm not sure, Mike, because since if ACC simulates what those lines on the outside do in real life, they're very abrasive. It's a very abrasive texture. And spinning out and running into those lines, those stripes, may hurt the tires if Kone simulated them well.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that if they did simulate that. That's definitely a chat question for some of those nerds in chat that know this game like the back of their hand, which I love every one of you guys. So please help. Little ACC fact check on that one. Anton Vaus has Dixon Hurst in front of him to contend with. Dixon, though, he has a 10-second penalty. I think that's a previous race penalty, and as a result, he will be needing to serve that in the pit phase. He will remain stationary for 10 seconds before he is lifted up and thrown onto the jacks. I'm very curious what this Beachburg Racing livery has in store for us here. You can see all of the teammates on there. Lots of Dutch drivers, some Dutch and Canadian drivers out there. Mike Burkhoff's heading off. Kimi Räikkönen quote, "Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing." Fair enough. And a Tim Hortons livery to boot on the rear end. And Whitewater Brewing Company. Lovely, lovely livery. I love it. Mike Burkov, after recovering from that spin, down to P18. This livery, now this looks like a Jet Classic. Maybe not, though. Maybe this is this an in-game livery?
It is an in-game livery, Mike. I'm sorry.
Dang, this looks like Jet made this livery.
It reminds me of the John Special. What is it called? The Lotus livery.
I don't know. It reminds me of his 747 livery, or his Jet Airliner livery, which I think it was 747, but...
Yeah, we got here a Nightfall Call, giving his energy to Blisk, Zane Bliskett.
Zane's going to need the energy because he has the likes of Ronaldo Velezquez behind to get a great view of the rear wing here of the Mad Fox Racing. And you can see that Audi gaining and gaining as they approach the Mistral curve. Is he going to fall victim? I'm not sure. The inside's open. Ronaldo, though, lifts off the throttle. Doesn't want to go for it. Very bold if he did. He was getting a little bit too close there. Off the track. Oh, no, but that's the line. I forgot. You're allowed to do that.
Zane Bliskett's last lap, which was a 157.1. Best lap was 156.3.
Let's see what happened here to Kevin Yu and Dennis Chavez. As these two having a bout, big contact on the Mistral. Kevin Yu way off, Dennis Chavez way off. And into the barrier actually went Kevin there. That's a tough thing to do here at Paul Ricard.
Yeah.
Very few spots that the barrier is really accessible to hit. Like I said, it's a test track for pretty much every motorsport series, so they have a very lenient usage in terms of where their barriers are. Good amounts of runoff area, which is also necessary for a track with a 1.1 mile straight.
And keep in mind, Mike, this is the best test track in the world because just next to it is an airport. That's why it's so flat. Cars can come in with their planes and just test it and just dispatch back home.
I think that's why we see some new names out there, the easy access here at Paul Ricard. No, you love to see it. And anyone interested in joining these leagues and participating with some of these super impressive drivers out on track, like I say, if you guys do want to, make sure you sign up over on SimGrid. You can see the calendar here. Our Porsche Cup support series in advance to this. That, of course, is going to be all Porsche Cups all the time for 35 minutes, followed up by the main event of the GT3 Challenge. We have a 90-minute race this time around here at Paul Ricard. Next week, we'll be at Brands Hatch, a 30-45 doubleheader. And, of course, our November 11th 6-hour endurance race, mixed class at Watkins Glen. Make sure you guys sign up for that. And if you're looking for a team, over in the Discord will be... you can find a team channel where basically all of the drivers are going to be looking for some teams. Also, we have our GT4 Rookie Series and our GT4 Open Championship. All of these are available on SimGrid and Discord. If you guys want to find the links there in chat. Of course, GT4 Open, thank you to our patrons as well. We'll pop those up for a second. And the M2 Reverse Grids on Thursday. And did you hear, did I say that right? M2 Reverse Grid, yes I did. Will be a normal race followed up by a race in the reverse grid order. And also, one more thing, thank you to our patrons. Names on screen. And now, back to your regularly scheduled broadcast. Drive-through penalty picked up for Mike Burkov. Up at the front as well, we have some developments for the podium battle. Wilson Fernandez is reeling Andrei Porshikov back in. Wilson here has been putting in the laps 154.2 to a 154.2. So dead even times we're seeing between these two drivers. As well, if you are interested, of course, the pit wall pinned at the top of the stream, you can see all of these timings as well. Still, Jace Wright actually is the fastest car on track. That was set on lap 1, 292 kph. We are here on lap 13, though, with 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 6 seconds remaining. Just about 25 minutes here into this 90-minute race, approaching that 1 hour mark. The drivers going to be looking to pit more or less around the 45-minute mark, where it would be around that halfway point. You can fuel your tank up for half. That way you can get the most optimum pace out of your car, as well as taking the tires, and you're most certainly going to want to take a new set of boots. Wilson Fernandez looking like he's going to need those sooner than later. He has a bit of a moment. Very unfortunate. Andre Porshakov breathes a slight sigh of relief, but definitely don't count the Vacuum Racing Audi out because he is close. Bruno Pio, after losing that position to Quinn Smith, has fallen back a little bit. We can hop on here in the Mistral Straight. You can see that speedo climbing 250 kph here. We're going to be reaching the 285, presumably, or on 284. You can see flat out 1.1 miles. Can be a bit of a lull sometimes, I will say. It feels so long as you approach that fast right-hander, plummet down a gear, the speed as well. Oh, big lift of the throttle. Big understeer for Bruno Pio. Almost invalidates, does keep it on the track though. Down 2 gears now to third and on the throttle, nice and early, up to third on exit. Gonna be downshifting here all the way. Actually, just a second. You can see these drivers better than me. As they lap around sector 3. I said it before, but this sector in particular is very tricky because after coming off that Mistral Straight, your tires, they get stone cold as well as your brakes. So you have a very heavy braking zone and a lot of very sharp corners that come very quickly, and that requires heat in your tires, which you don't have. So understeer is a massive contributing factor there in Sector 3, and as well, by the end of it, your tires are almost screaming. So really sending your tires through those wear periods, heating them up, cooling them down, heating them up, cooling them down, that can cure the rubber on the surface, which will form graining, and all of a sudden your tires will start basically disappearing. All the rubber will start flying off as you drive, gripping the tarmac and just ripping off the wheels. And graining, of course, leads to blistering, which blistering is what you don't want. There's a yellow flag. Skylar Lovrink and the number 74 of Mike Burkov have had it coming together. What has happened here? Mike Burkov, you can see heading onto the Mistral Straight, moving out of the way, it looks like, but Skylar was not ready for that and makes contact. Mike is stranded as a chicane in the middle of the straight. Skylar, I don't even think he knows what to say after that one.
Yeah, it's a variable that no one will expect how a backmarker can behave. And Mike Burkov, just wrong spot in the wrong time. Skylar Lovrink, I don't know if he could have avoided that very well, especially at that speed.
Stewards will definitely be taking a look at that one after the session, I have no doubt. Mike Burkov going to be a little upset with himself, maybe. I don't know. Was he moving out of the way? That was the question. Or did he have an error? That will be what the stewards are looking at, is if Mike had a bit of a wobble, then it would be more or less considered a racing incident. But if Mike did decide that moment to let the blue flag through, he could have just waited onto the straight line, which Mike, a very experienced driver, that's why I say this, is I don't expect him to make that decision. That's a very simple decision, to just let him by on the straight line rather than through one of the most tricky corners on the track. Nonetheless, moving on, Eric Gakossi and Devin Anthony having a bit of a scrap. Devin is going to be massively on the downside here. At least I thought. After tucking out of the slipstream, though, that drag really going to catch that Lamborghini out. And the inside line for Devin Anthony, I think he should hold this position. Skylar Lovrink immediately into the pits as well. No
That's
surprise.
a true shame.
So he's going to have to pit much earlier than he expected here. Probably about 15 minutes earlier. If anyone can come back from it, it's definitely Skylar. He is still looking good in terms of the championship. My goodness, this is a bit of a lot of cars. Jeez. Anton Vaus, Chris Rise here. And Skylar does come out of the pits in P19. Very unfortunate there. And Mike Burkov actually out of the session as well. Casey Schutte, who's currently in P7 now, going to be benefited from that incident. Casey Schutte looking to take his rightful position of P6. Now, for anyone curious, Casey Schutte, his entire goal in life is to make it to P6 and stay there. I'm obviously kidding, but as of his past few race results, it definitely seems that way. He is a absolute champion of the P6 slot, so we'll see if he can keep it up. Marcelo Ramon, though, holds that title from him currently. He is going to hate me for saying that, by the way. Steven Tomazic getting overtaken 2 for 1 there. And that is going to be done and dusted. Nicely done from Ronaldo Velazquez and Chris Rise. They're going to continue at it. Steven may be able to scrape up out of the doldrums something from this. But no, I think in that zero gas, he is going to have to stay behind at this current moment, looking for opportunities, though, in the future. And John Hawley, how many track configurations does this track have, he asks. Well, this track has a whopping 167 track variations, varying from half a mile all the way to this current layout. And for anyone curious, the circuit layout that we run on, it rolls right off the tongue, I promise you. It's Circuit 1A-V2. Paul Ricard, though, very fun track, very quick. Of course, one of the most high-speed tracks as a result of the straight line. In fact, the highest speed track. As well as it has its tricky bits in that Sector 3 and Sector 1. Very easy to invalidate and push the limits. But these drivers so far have managed to negotiate it very well. I think we've seen one drive-through penalty up to this point, and I don't think it was from track limits. That might have been. I don't know. Actually, I don't see any drive-through penalties. I thought I saw one. And thank you, John. I appreciate it. Why aren't you out on track? The heck you doing? Dixon Hurst in the Beechberg Kimi Räikkönen inspired livery here is going to be looking at Steven Tomazic's rear diffuser and wanting a piece of that. Well, maybe he wants the position. I don't think he wants a piece of the diffuser. Steven can keep his diffuser. Hopefully.
For now.
For now. It's a nice three-way bout. This battle I don't think is going to be going anywhere anytime soon. We also have Ashley Forrester and Dennis Chavez. Ashley in the Tag Heuer Vodafone McLaren. Always bringing a spicy livery to the table is Ashley Forrester. Of course, has the Red Bull Aston Martin. No, the Red Bull BMW and the AlphaTauri Aston Martin. There we go. We got there in the end. Now bringing the Vodafone Heuer. Oh my goodness, that is still super loud. And John Hawley gifting a sub to the real Killer Mantis. That sounds like a threat, but an awesome name nonetheless. Hope you enjoy your emotes, the real Killer Mantis. And thank you for supporting the stream, John Hawley. Gifting 9 total subs to the channel. Appreciate your continued support, brother. Up at the front, Wilson Fernandez is still close behind Andrei Porshakov, and I was going to say so is Quinn Smith close behind, but no, Quinn Smith decides that enough's enough. He is coming into the pits here and going for an undercut strategy. Will that pay off? We are going to find out as Zane Blisket and Ronaldo Velezquez resume side by side, the cameramen not doing us any justice. And this three-way bout still not going anywhere. Like I said, I think these three drivers are going to be stuck with each other for a while, at least until one of them decides to pit. And who is that in the background? That's Skylar Lovrink, our previous race leader. Now, though, you would think, is this a blue flag? No, this is not a blue flag. This is actually for position. Skylar Lovrink flashing the headlights, but he needs to remember there are no blue flags being waved.
Wow, bold move here.
Sort of taking the position, not asking for it, taking it. Next on the table will be Steven Tomazic.
But Dixon Hurt still looking for the position. We see a car leaving the pits.
Quinn Smith joining this party as well. Wait a second, Quinn Smith and Skylar Lovrink side by side. How has this managed to happen? And Skylar Lovrink is ahead. All right, so Skylar could still be on for the race win here tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, no! Why'd I say anything? Skylar Lovrink. And was that Steven Tomazic have it coming together? Was that too aggressive negotiation of traffic there? Let's go back and take a look. As we're watching Steven Tomazic, you can see that Ferrari coming from downtown. He does make it happen, but he places himself right in front of Steven on the line. That's going to be one for the stewards, no doubt. Steven definitely could have slowed the car down, but Skylar also could have maybe not gone for it in that position. But hey, he did. The only argument that I have for that is Skylar was fully ahead at the apex and did have rights to the corner. But once again, that is going to be up to review for the stewards, as that's a tough one. And yes, thank you, Griffless. Appreciate it. Right on time.
So your average driver would be very surprised and very intimidated by Skylar Loverink's move there. I don't blame Steven Tomazic for that.
No, I don't really blame either driver for it. As Skylar, I mean, maybe if I had to blame a driver, it would be Skylar, I think. But just due to the fact, like I say, that, yeah, you don't expect that, really. That's just a spot of the track where the corners, they have left, right, and it's just not, it doesn't warrant overtaking necessarily. The best chance would just be to wait for the straight. You got 1.1 miles to dispatch of your victim ahead, who, at this point, I think will be more than willing to give the position up if you do end up behind this time. Jason Provolone is in the pits. Quinn Smith, though, I gotta say, snuck out of that one only just. I think he managed to run wide and avoid the contact. Sticks with Chris Rise battling for P14. Of course, Chris Rise has not made a pit stop just yet. Quinn Smith, he has.
Would dare say Quinn Smith aim for the podium. We'll see after all drivers have taken their pit stops.
Of course, Quinn just starting outside of the podium positions. He started in P4, though Skylar, he started in P1, and he is currently looking like P5 is going to be the result, which, for all things considered, is really good.
We see Andrei Porshakov in the pits, so we'll see when or where he'll exit, either ahead or after Quinn Smith.
Skylar already flashing the headlights, and flashing them again is going to send it. And Chris Rise says, I want nothing to do with this. Smart move, Chris. We'll see what Skylar has in store for us as they catch up with some more back markers. But Andrei Porshakov, he is coming out of the pits. He should retain the lead here. Well, not yet, but come the exit of the pit phase.
There we go.
And actually, Quinn Smith has slipped back much further than I expected because Anton Vaus is actually... Has he made his... No, he hasn't. Why does he have a pit stop? 261 seconds stationary. What? Is that a bug? I feel like my ACC TV bugged or something, but interesting. I don't know what to think about that. That's weird.
Steven Tomazic into the pits. I would dare say he's coming in to repair the damage from that kerfuffle with Skylar Loveman.
Here we see Skylar and Quinn Smith on to the Mistral straight. We're going to be heading. The cameraman, okay, there we go. I was wondering why the cars changed color. Looking at the wrong cars.
Yeah, we know Skylar's running a very low aero setup here. It will have the top speed for the move.
Quinn is actually quicker in a straight line by a good margin over Skylar Loverink, at least on paper. In practice, though, it's a completely different story. We saw Skylar Loverink there blow by Quinn Smith. Will Quinn fight this back soon? That's the question. Quinn will fight it back, though there is 49 minutes and 8 seconds left, so still time to be had. Provolone, because it ain't easy being cheesy. And no, it isn't. Provolone doing a good job so far as he sits in P21 just ahead of Eric Gakassian. Also, thank you very much to Rowdy Burns 51 for the follow. Hope everyone is enjoying the show tonight and hope everyone's having a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning wherever you are in this fine world. Some incredible racing at hand for us. Andrei Porshikov here and Professor Chronotis. Porshikov was leading this race before he came into the pits. Currently, Wilson Fernandez has that title, though I predict it will change come the pit stop phase. But the one thing that I'm noticing here is Wilson Fernandez actually should have a bit of an advantage due to the fact that Andre rejoining in traffic. That's really going to hurt his lap times. Last lap, he had a 2 minute and 13. Of course, that was because he's fresh out of the pits. We'll see what it is this time around. Wilson still lapping in the 154.7s, though. Rowdy Burns couldn't make it this week, but will be out on track next week. I can't wait to see you out there, and thank you for joining us tonight and chatting. Really appreciate you just popping in and saying hi.
Both Devin Anthony and Dixon Hurst into the pits. Dixon Hurst serving his penalty.
Dennis Chavez and Stephen Poe on the Mistral straight here. Ferrari 296 versus McLaren Evo 2. The McLaren pulled out of that slipstream very aggressively and had a bit of a jink at the wheel, and that maybe definitely killed some of that straight line speed, which, especially after breaking that toe, did not allow him to get the overtake there onto Stephen Poe. Still, though, close behind. If these two keep up the scrap, Jason Provolone is 8 seconds behind. That's definitely nothing to shake a stick at. Skylar Loverink's off again. What's happened here? As we pull up a replay, this is Skylar Loverink we're watching here. Deep. Overly ambitious.
Bold move.
Very. Definitely, you can see Skylar doing his best to negotiate the traffic ahead. Maybe sometimes making a bit more of an aggressive move than most drivers would make. I think so. That's very fair to say. As a result, well, we see Velazquez gets so far out of the way of Skylar Loverink as a result. He does not want anything to do with it, I gotta say. Yeah, less than ideal. We'll leave it at that. Quinn Smith, currently under massive threat from behind. And you can see there, Skyler with very fast straight line speed there with that toe in the 296, but we'll see if post-race we might see a couple penalties being handed the way there of the number 52 296. Zane Blisket, he's out of the pits, so is Dennis Chavez. Steven Tomazic joining the side-by-side pretty much there. Or is he fresh out too? No, I think he just completed a lap. Tight margins here as we're exiting the pits. You can see the strategy calls playing dividends here tonight. The Rusty Plastic Co. just behind Steven on pit exit.
Drives for Zane Blisket?
Speeding in the pits?
Oh.
Wow. Must be. I don't think that's due to track limits, although he did invalidate this lap, so it very well could be. But seems like that was from the pit lane. Could be wrong. Have all the drivers taken their pit stop? No, they have not. We actually still have a few drivers, quite a few drivers that have not. In fact, most of them stopping a little bit earlier than I expected. We have Ronaldo Velezquez not to make their stop, Chris Rise, and up at the front, Wilson Fernandez, Bruno Pio, and Ricky Scott. Also down further, Professor Cronotis, who is making their stop now with Stephen Poe as well. Eric Gakassian in, and that is going to be the Vacuum Racing of Wilson Fernandez right behind him. Split strategy decisions here at Paul Ricard tonight. Definitely making it interesting. Checking the weather radar. I know we were wondering if it was going to rain at some point, as it did in the Porsche Cup race. No rain on the radar for now. So far, my post-race weather prediction is 100% inaccurate, which is honestly impressive.
We still have 13 minutes for a little bit of a sprinkle to pop onto the forecast. We'll see.
The RS Motorsports of Steven Music looks like a slightly damaged 296 here, lining up Jaeger Karu. Down the straight we go. Jaeger, I know he's a big fan of when we go on board with him. The Mad Fox Racing. Wow. Why don't we go on board with him now? You can see there, Jaeger coming now into Sector 3. This is where we're going to have some cold tires. The Ferrari up ahead, you can see twitching under braking. Quite a bit, in fact. The grip there for Steven not quite up to par, really. As we head into Jaeger Karu on a bit of an alternate line, bit tighter line down into first gear, is going to need that for the rotation. As a result, you can see accelerating now through the windy S-bit. That is so loud. Cody Blanton gifting a sub to Blue Wolf. Thank you, Cody, for gifting a sub. Appreciate you. Thank you for your continued support here. And to negotiate the final corner there, Jaeger is going to come through to complete another lap. Keep an eye here on Quinn Smith. What is the fastest top speed we've seen on the Mistral so far? Do we have that data? Well, John Hawley, thanks to SimGrid, thanks to Pitwall, yes, we do have that. And the fastest car on the straight, that's going to be Jace Wright at a whopping 292 kph. Followed up behind him, rather tied with him, is actually the car that we're looking at currently, Quinn Smith. Skyler Lovrink not too far behind as well when it comes to the timing charts. He's actually in 1 kph slower than Quinn Smith at top speed, but it looks like he's quicker. Nightfall Call, thank you for the tier 1 sub and throwing in the dancing pigeon. The Blisket Burb, that is such a good emote, I gotta say. I'm so jealous of that emote. I've had multiple people recently come to me and be like, literally say to me that they are jealous of that emote, and quite frankly, I am too.
It looks like 60 FPS emoji right there. I went for Discord myself as well. That is groovy.
We need a dancing emote of some sort here at TRACKILICIOUS, but I have not thought of it yet. So if anyone has any suggestions, please do throw them in the chat because I am eager for them. Another thing that we want to do, we want to make a multi... Whoa, Quinn Smith! Way deep, and getting his elbows out there actually makes contact and is going to go around. You can see him gaining that traction. Wow, Skylar Lovrink and Quinn Smith. These two are scrapping. This is a knife fight in a phone booth here, and we still have 40 minutes left to go in this race, Dan.
Oh, there was a second and a half. And they're toe-to-toe.
Fernando Alonso bird dance. I'm not sure what that means, but we can't do a dancing bird. I can't steal Zane Bliskett's thing because it's just too good. It needs to be original but stolen. Jason Provolone here. The cheese man himself lining up Ricky Scott. Porsche 296 overspeed on the McLaren, something that I never thought I would say. Did I say 296? I never thought I would say that, a Porsche 296. A Porsche 992.
Yeah, honestly, I think the Porsche was topping out. I don't think it goes over 280. Question mark. I will need some more data on that.
Well, I can provide that for you as it's... let's see here. The Porsche capping out of... Let's see here. Where's Jason Provolone? Jason Provolone's Porsche is capping out at 284. The quickest Porsche, actually, is Rousseau at 286.
Okay, so let's go faster.
As you can see here, Provolone coming on to the 27th lap. We are over halfway through, and most drivers have made their pit stops. We still have a few more yet to do so. We're looking here at Chris Reyes, Ronaldo Velezquez, as well as Yeager Karu, the three drivers yet to make a stop. Up at the front, we've had a bit of a spread. 4 seconds is the gap to the lead. Oh, Chris Reyes, what's happened here? That's big damage on the front end, and a return to the garage as well. And a disconnect. Can I even go back? Did he disconnect? Or did it... What? I hit the button. Oh, there we go. I just had to hit it 3 times. All right, cool. Oof. I couldn't tell what happened there. Unfortunate. With a return to garage, I'm surprised, though. There must have been a mechanical failure of some sort, because that didn't look typical.
Yeah. Shame to have those.
Tank Slapper very well may have been. I'm not sure. He went so far off to the left, though, it just looked like failure of some sort, but hey, I could be very wrong. In fact, most of the time I am. Dennis Chavez and Steven Tomazic here. This is for position. Both drivers out of the pits around a relatively similar time, in fact. Steven on about 2 lap older tires than Dennis, so both of their tires at the prime of their life right now. Dennis, though, slightly fresher. That slipstream is so powerful down the Mistral straight as Steven Tomazic punches a massive hole in the air and allows that McLaren to just blow by. And energy being thrown the way of Steven Tomazic. He is going to need it. Dennis Chavez really putting it to him here and making Steven work for this position. Steven, as he has 0 gas for his car, I don't know how much he has in the tank, but he needs a little bit more to keep up here with Dennis Chavez. Driver we haven't touched on too much, Anton Vaus, chasing down another driver we haven't touched on too much, Professor Chronotis. 14th and 15th here, as Anton in the CJ Engine Works last lap, a 155.4 compared to Professor Chronotis' 156.3. Chronotis almost an entire second a lap slower last time around the track. He's going to need to pick that pace up, but Anton half a second off this lap. So the lap before maybe was an exception, but it wasn't even his... Oh, wait, it was his quickest lap. It just was invalid, I think. That would do it. That'd help you gain time. Also, Ashley Forrester and Eric Gakassian. Ashley as a driver has been putting in the work lately. Currently in P24. They started in the rookie league and have made some improvements. Daniel, you were talking about this earlier, and just some of these drivers, my goodness, what was that noise? I need to find out. It's in... I apologize. That just scared the living crap out of me. I don't know what makes that noise, everyone. I'm so sorry.
I think it was a follow.
No, the following is something else. That was Murphy, thank you for the follow, making a little bring noise. There's another noise in there that I don't know what it is. I don't know how to change it. I'm a bad streamer, chat. I don't know what to say. No, it's not a redeem either. I know it's not a redeem. I don't know what it is.
How is Eric replying to us?
That's a good question. Eric's currently has Ashley Forrester's 1.5 seconds behind, so that is a good question. Why he's paying attention to the stream? I mean, I guess that woke any driver up that was watching, that's for sure.
And he also got the position. What is going on, Eric? Pay attention to the race.
How the heck do you change alerts, man? I literally don't know. Regardless, you can see Stephen Poe and Zane Blisket now having a bit of a bout behind. Now, onto the start-finish straight again. Stephen Poe lining him up, should have the inside line fairly easily here, but no, actually isn't quite far enough ahead to get anything done just yet. I may have figured it out. I wonder if it's this. I may have, ladies and gentlemen, we may have figured it out, but also I don't think we did. I don't know what that is. Also, can turn this down now. But thank you everyone for being here and hitting that follow button and participating. Thank you guys so much. Just trying to figure out what the heck that noise is. I just don't know. But regardless, like I said, back to the action here. One thing I do want to do as well, as we have, well, some side-by-side action happening on track. We'll hold off on that. Side-by-side, we go down the Mistral straight, heading towards the end here. It is going to be Stephen Poe on the inside with Zane Blisket on the outside, and it looks like that position will be decided before the curve.
Just saw stop and go 10 for CJ Engine?
What?
How is that a thing?
I don't know.
Stop and go 10.
I have no idea. I've never seen that before. Stop and go 10 for CJ Engine, yeah.
Let me see if there's something on the replay.
You know, chat, it's getting closer to Halloween, as John Hawley has said in chat. It's spooky things are occurring here tonight. Bruno Castaldini behind Ricky Scott here. The worst part about that weird noise, too, I know I keep going back to it because I just don't know. It happens like once every 3 or 4 streams. So it's just so inconsistent that I have no idea. But now dropping that for good. Bruno Castaldini in the Ghost Team Renegade. Let's take a look at this livery here. See some an awesome job here, as well as just a lot of work was put into this. The McLaren is such a difficult car to make a livery for and have a nice flowing, well, everything. As you can see, there are some parts that don't quite flow, but like I say, that I do not fault the livery maker. I'm assuming Bruno is the livery maker of this. It is such a tough car to do. I made one myself. Neo Kabuki, instead of spooky, say spoopy. Okay, yes, I can do that for you, Neo. Ronaldo Velázquez still has yet to make a pit stop. There are 2 drivers out on track that haven't, Jaeger Karu and himself. So going for that alternate strategy could potentially help them out later on, but it seems the overcut was the strategy to go here on Paul Ricard, really benefiting massively for some of those drivers up at the front. As well, Jace Wright here, actually we'll catch this, Jace Wright has caught Ronaldo and is going to presumably be dispatching him as he is on much fresher tires. Ronaldo looking to save 5 seconds. I'm assuming he is not going to take time, although with 30 minutes left, I think his race, I think he's made a poor strategy call. No offense, Ronaldo. Yes, Ronaldo, yes.
Yeah, Mike, I just got the footage from the boys at the truck. Drew Burakovsky and CJ Engine both basically forgot about braking into one of the turns and cut in, personally like 3 turns, and Drew with a drive-through penalty and CJ with a stop and go to 10, and CJ didn't want any of that and just basically retired the car in the process.
Wow.
Really a shame.
Well,
quite a quirky incident for both drivers.
Today I learned you can... What the drive-through penalty is going on down here? Hey, guys, keep it between the mayo and the mustard. This is... It all happened at once, too, here on lap 30. We got 3 drive-through penalties that happen here. What? Ashley Forrester is going to be smiling, though. Ashley going to benefit massively, but like I said, maybe is going to be up there with the track limits as well. I mentioned it at the start. That first sector is a real killer when it comes to the valid laps. And it's so easy to wash wide through the chicanes and just like you said before, cut the track and take 3 corners off of your racing line. And I had no idea that you could get a stop-go 10 penalty from that. Oh my, Jaeger! This is on the start-finish straight. How the heck did this happen? Jaeger heading towards the barrier. Is there going to be a car? Oh my goodness! Wow. Jaeger Karu getting taken out on exit, or rather just that is the nature of that pit lane, not quite seeing the track map or paying attention to that radar that would let you know that there is somebody there, but very unfortunate, Jaeger. That's a jump scare. Yes, now that is a jump scare. Absolutely. That could not... such an easy thing. That's such an easy mistake to make, Dan, and I'm sure you have come very close here. I know you drive a little bit more than me here on this track. It's just, I mean, the nature of the pit lane, really.
Honestly, I do have the benefit of having crew chief on it. It's very handy when it comes to those kinds of pit lane exits. It does alert you, but I don't know if Jaeger Karu has that third-party app enabled. It is very unforgiving to rely on just the in-game features of ACC, and especially with that kind of exit.
And confirmation in chat as well from Jaeger. The moment that he saw the car was the moment that it was coming out. So, and the moment, the moment it told, so it didn't actually say anything until it was coming out. Okay, I see. I see what you're saying. That's very unfortunate, and yeah, an absolute jump scare. Puts a quick end to your race on a very high-speed part of the track, and you hate to see it, as Cody Blanton has put it very perfectly. Also, Sharpenberry, how's it going? You're joining a little bit late here tonight, but nonetheless, better late than never, and there's an ad, so probably now in an ad.
Yeah, but just looking at the replay for those drive-through penalties, and I didn't see anything. They just popped up, and I didn't get to see the reason behind it. No track limits, no cuts, no anything.
Well, I predict there was a few in there. It's just hard, as I can actually see here in my log now that I look at it. No, I can't. I lied.
Yeah, very mysterious set of drive-through penalties. For 3 of them to appear in such a short period, with 2 of them being at the very same time, very sketchy.
Uh-oh. Jason Provolone, the fan favorite here tonight, is off the track. It ain't easy being cheesy, and he's proven it tonight. Let's see what happened. Oh, what? That was very slow. What happened?
Typical Porsche issue.
Yeah, back end not quite really agreeing with the front end there, and having to park it and be a chicane mid-corner there is Provolone. Luckily, the driver's all skilled enough to negotiate that fairly, but Provolone, a bit of a scare. Never like being in that position, that's for sure.
Great news for the drivers, but not so for you, Mike. There won't be any rain this race.
You know, that's very typical. Mike the weatherman once again proving his calls and being 100% inaccurate. I actually couldn't have got it more wrong. Like to an impressive level, actually. It's kind of a miracle that I consistently can do that, but still. Jace Wright and Marcelo Ramon side by side through Sector 3. You can see no room between the two of them. In fact, some bumping and banging to boot. And that is a lapped car in front. Ashley Forrester probably wants nothing to do with this, trying to find the best opportunity to get out of the way, but struggling to do so as they don't want to impede their race too much. Finding a good opportunity, though, to allow all 3 of these cars through, and will continue to follow them now and have a bit of a benchmarker and maybe gain some pace on the cars in front. As this is Casey Schutte joining the party. On the outside, late on the brakes, but not late enough. Switchback attempt here. Going to get the better exit, but the corner coming up ahead, it comes quickly. And we're going to watch now one of the most tricky corner complexes here on the track, and maybe even in ACC. You can see here, this corner we're about to see, so easy to cut right there. Take it deep and invalidate your lap. So is this one as well. You can see how close the drivers have to get to the curbing in order to maximize that minimum speed here onto the Mistral straight. So far, Lamborghini though a little bit further behind than he would like. Marcelo Ramon as well falling behind. Running out of time though are these drivers. We're approaching that 20-minute time, which that's kind of when that wake-up bell rings and saying, hey guys, we are getting close to the end. We are at that sprint race timer, and there isn't going to be much left to go. Sharpenberry redeeming a hydrate. Thank you very much. Good redemption, or a good reminder to chat as well to hydrate. Also, knowing that Eric Gakosian is watching the stream, why don't we do a full onboard lap with him, Dan? Let's see here. As we come around the final corner. He is going to be on the throttle. Nicely done. Going to keep that wheel straight as possible here on the straight line. Of course, going to be heading towards that first chicane. Looking for the braking marker off to the side. You can see that guardrail change. Actually braking much later. I'm looking at a GT4 line. You can see a little bit of a little bit deep into the first part of the corner and milking the cow on the exit. He is going to have a bit of a seesaw heading through Sector 1 now. Is he going to cut the corner? Let's find out. This is once again one of those easy ones to do. Nicely done. Deep through the second part though. That is going to compromise the run fully onto the Mistral straight. A little bit deep there. He is going to correct it to the best of his abilities, but now we are going to go 1.1 miles of flat out action right after this corner here. Slight lift, nope, flat out as we go. The Lamborghini planted. We are in engine map 3, interestingly.
That's a balanced engine brake.
Okay. And Neo, turn on your windshield wipers to protect yourself from the commentator's curse. I love it. I love it. Nicely done. Tilts it into the Mistral curve, down to 5th, actually very wide. And that is going to compromise. They're on 3/10 down this lap. Wow, very deep into the Sector 3. You can see those cold tires really getting the best of Eric. And no, he is going to go around and head to the barrier. He keeps it out. Eric Gakasi in there with his mandatory screen time, the contractually obliged. We will come to an end there now.
We do it for the content, Eric. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's what you get for having the stream up, buddy. Stephen Poe chasing Zane Blisket. Actually, that is going to be Ricky Scott getting out of the way ahead there. Oh my goodness, Ricky Scott's off in 9th position. That's going to allow Bruno Castaldini in, and as well, Jason Provolone walks his way into the top 10. Gifted those 2 positions, did he? Just wanted to give you guys something to watch. Thank you, Eric, for typing in chat while driving and flexing to the rest of the drivers that you are in P21. Up at the front, we do have a potential battle for the lead. And by a potential battle, I almost mean certainly a battle. Wilson Fernandez here, and wow, Andrei Porshikov is pushing that McLaren. Deep he goes after the Mistral curve. That's going to allow Wilson Fernandez to walk onto the inside, but the overspeed is there for the McLaren. The Audi going to have to challenge back now into the next few corners. He has the pace. Andre, has he used up his tires? That's the question. It's very early on in the stint for that to be the case, but it's looking to be that way as he is on about 6 minute older tires, so about 3 lap older tires. And yes, Zay calling it as well. Forzy with a hydrate. Wilson here. All over the back of Andre and Dan. I think, Andre, it's going to be a matter of time before we see this position change.
We'll see. Anything can happen now.
A bit further behind, Casey Schutte and Marcelo Ramon, as well as Jace Wright, still in their 3-way bout. These 3 going to be separated by no more than a few margins as the Pigeon Racing team here of Marcelo gets a bit out of shape on exit onto the start-finish straight, completing lap 37 here. And Jose asking, where is Eric? Currently in P21, as I turn away from a move. Marcelo Ramon defends, though, from Casey Schutte. And Jose redeeming his hydrates as well, getting those out early. You love to see it. Another reminder to chat as well. Make sure you guys stay hydrated, as chat giving you plenty of opportunities to do so.
Yeah, I would say Wilson Fernandez taking it very carefully, reminding himself that there are 17 minutes left. Look at the chill. Not doing these drastic movements right now.
Ooh, Wilson Fernandez getting out of shape. Also, Jose, you missed our full onboard lap with Eric Gakasian where we cursed him into a mistake, so. Casey Schutte with a good amount of overspeed here. I think he might have it finally, but we are approaching the end of the Mistral, and the inside line is there for Marcelo. He's doing everything he needs to. Does he wash wide, though, off that alternate line? It looks like he does a little bit, managing, though, to keep it mostly enough on track and able to keep Casey behind. Oh, speaking of that, I don't think anyone gave the curse for Eric, so if somebody wants to... Here, I'll do it real quick. We can find out. If I can type it right. There we go. Now we're up to 89 now. Look at that. A good number. Dan also adding 1 to the count here tonight.
Oh, yes. was my very first one. I'm so proud of it.
Was that Casey getting stuck behind the livery that he stole? No, that was Eric Gakassian getting out of the way. Look at that. The livery made specifically for Casey Schutte by Stefan Lindauer, and Eric Gakassian just heinously representing it behind. Up at the front. Let me see the Wilson Fernandez battle. There we go, ACC TV. Wasn't letting me click. Being a little slow tonight is the guys in the truck and some of their decisions. As we have it, though, Wilson really going to be pressuring Andre here, and Andre might even make a mistake if this keeps up. It's so hard to have somebody breathing down your neck like that and stay consistent for an entire 20 minutes. Is the curse, or is that Eric just trying to entertain us? Are you not entertained? Curse or no curse? Yes, Eric providing entertainment always with his spins. I mean, great racing. Casey Schutte, though, showing some great racing with Marcelo Ramon. As the time dwindles, we're running down to that 14-minute mark here. Marcelo Ramon runs very deep, allowing Casey Schutte to have a run here through Sector 3. There's not too many good overtaking opportunities, though, as the corners come very quickly, and most are almost flat out. And a livery deep dive for Zane Blisket. That is a point redemption that does not get used enough. But yes, most certainly. Zane Blisket here in the Mad Fox Racing. Why don't we take a look at this? Lovely blue, white, and red there with the purple gradient. Eric going to be losing his mind with the slight gradient.
Is he watching the stream? He did flash his lights out of nowhere.
Oh my goodness. He knows. He knows. Zane Blisket. Getting that livery deep dive in the number 64 car. Currently in P25, looking to make some positions up 2.9 seconds behind Stephen Poe with that awesome Trackalicious logo on the back as well. Into the first chicane now, Zane Blisket. He did not bin it during our livery deep dive. You love to see it.
Gabby Huffman in the chat. Hello, Kev.
Yes, welcome, Kevin. And risk it for the Blisket. Little did you know, that is actually, he has that written on his door at home. Imagine getting cursed during a deep dive. It wouldn't be the first. Oh, there's going to be some tight racing here. Marcelo and Jace. I think Marcelo is getting a bit impatient with Jace right ahead. You can see him just trying to get his nose in any gap he possibly can. We saw what happens earlier when that does happen. Cars typically end up facing the wrong way on track, so let's hope these two keep it together as they are currently looking to put on a great result. P6 and P7 for these two drivers, with Casey behind in 8th. That could give Casey, though, his P6 that he's dreaming about. As they come around once again, lap 40 completed here. 11 minutes, 34 seconds left. Casey is running out of time, and so is Marcelo. Jace is going to be shaken at his knees, or his fingertips, as he is a controller driver. But P6, though, anyone who thinks that a gamepad isn't viable here in ACC is clearly mistaken, because he is outpacing some of the faster drivers, in fact, even ahead of Ollie Raza. I know that isn't quite off of pace alone. Ollie Raza has actually done a great job to make up ground after that lap 1 incident that we saw with him. Or lap 2 incident, I think. Jason Provolone has caught up here with Bruno Castaldini. Into the top 10, Jason Provolone made his way, passing Ricky Scott, now looking to make it into the single-digit positions. And Casey, with some energy being thrown his way, he's going to need it side by side down the Mistral.
Get that V10 screaming on the straight.
Oh, contact!
Ooh.
Wow.
No, I don't think there was any contact.
If there was, it was very light, and both drivers managing to keep it under control, as contact there can result in such a big incident. It's so... you're at the top speed of your car, literally, and trying to churn that momentum into a corner can really just flip you off into the blue stuff, I guess. I don't know what you call that. The abrasive tarmac?
Yeah, it is. I honestly don't know.
And Shooty taking that energy right away and using it. Gaining the position over Marcelo. And next up will be Jace Wright. Wet Sox supporting Provolone, of course. Of course, he's going to be chasing down Bruno still. We'll tune in with that a little bit later. And an AC/DC low, let's get it. Yes, indeed, an AC/DC inspired livery. This was made by Stefan Lindauer, actually, a longtime Trackalicious member. Awesome kid, he's a grown man at this point, about the same age as me. So a kid, but off in college. Oh, yes, the 88 car almost collects the AC/DC car there. But a great tribute livery for the Lamborghini Huracan here. And Devin Anthony, not the biggest fan of this track. Also, Murphy saying hello. First off, hello. And so is Trackalicious its own league? You're new to ACC. So that's a great question, Murphy. Now, what Trackalicious is, so we actually hold that thought. We will get into that. Wow, as Casey Shooty has a big moment of oversteer after trying to go for that overtake on Jace Wright, and all that hard work that he did overtaking Marcelo Ramon is undone within a corner. But back to that question. So, is Trackalicious own league? We are a community on Discord, which if you are interested in joining the Discord, you can find the link here, that runs leagues here on ACC. We run our leagues through SimGrid, which is also, you can find the link here. Lots of links, I know. But where all of our championships are hosted, and we have quite a few of them, in fact. All of them on PC. I see the question in chat as well, is do we do Xbox? We do not do Xbox here at Trackalicious. However, our good friends over at Box 3, which I'll have another link for you, the Discord to Box 3, if you are interested in getting some console racing, Box 3, they run an amazing console league. That's going to be by Huffman in chat as well. He's going to be one of the guys that runs over there at Box 3, one of the co-founders, in fact. So definitely go check out our close friends over at Box. They run some amazing leagues on PC, on Xbox. Like I say, we run strictly PC, and we have quite a few events coming up. I'll just flash the calendar briefly really quick so we can see here. We have our GT3 Championship, which you're watching right now, that had our Porsche Cup Series as well coming up. The 6 hours on the 11th at Watkins Glen. That's going to be a mixed GT3 and GT4 class. Also, we have our GT4 Rookie Championship, which if you are newer to ACC and looking to dip your toe into the water here of PC sim racing, GT4 Rookie League is a perfect spot for you. Open signups there, as well as our GT4 Open League for our Patreon members, and the M2 Reverse Grid on Thursday, which I know, did you say that right? M2 Reverse Grid? Yes, I did. The M2 Reverse Grid is so much fun. Also, big thank you to our Patreon members. You can see the list of all of the names on screen, all 22 of you guys. Thank you so much for participating to the Patreon and really making us want to push further and further here at Trackalicious. Now, back to your scheduled programming. And we do not have a 24 hours of Spa coming up, although does Box? No, I don't think Box does either. Not that I know. I'm not sure on the 24 hours of Spa. And SimGrid is great, Cronny. I agree. SimGrid is amazing. And looking forward to the Storm event. Yes, the all-rain event at Silverstone, or Max Weather. Yeah, that one's going to be fun, yes. A true testament to driver's skill, that one will be.
Well, drive-through for track limits for Rousseau. He just left the pits. That's a shame. If there's 5 minutes left into the race.
Oh, and Huff there just actually reiterating my statement there. So they have a bunch of iRacing stuff going on over at Box 3 right now, but not much for ACC for the next few weeks. But in the next few weeks, I'm sure those will be resumed back up, so... Looking up at the front as well, we have Wilson Fernandez still chasing Porshikov and Casey Schutte side by side with Ramon. He's going for the overtake again. Outside line being picked. He should have the overspeed, but is he going to get it done before the corner? He is fully ahead. He is going to be, yes, fully got it done and dusted by the corner entry. Ramon tries to come back, but doesn't have it. And another question there from Murphy. Is LFM the best way to get into multiplayer racing on ACC? Have it been literally 7 hours of the game? So no, I would say LFM is not the best way to get into racing. LFM is going to be for your more experienced drivers, as they have a points rating system and a class, and if you do incidents, you can actually get banned from the league. If you're looking to improve, Dan, it sounds like you have something to say here. Dan, why don't you take this over? I've been talking for
Yeah, because I have a personal experience with LFM. I did start with TRACKILICIOUS first, and then I went to LFM just because, not only, as you said, Mike, there's a point system and a license system. Well, not a class and safety rating. There's also a license system that you have to get your license, and that requires you to have, I think, 7 consecutive valid laps around a specific track each season, and you need to be into that time bracket, and it is very hard to get that when you just started off.
Oh my goodness, Dan. Sorry to interrupt here, but we are going to see a change in position for our lead, I think, as Dan Wilson Fernandez has forced Andrei Porshikov into a mistake, finally. Continue.
That's pretty much it. I would say work your way up. I would say start off with our Rookies League first. Get yourself familiar with the physics in the ACC, and especially how racecraft works when it comes to racing against other players, other drivers on track. And then start off with GT4s, lower cars, and I would say then get to GT3s. And when you feel confident enough, try hot lapping either on your own or in the official LFM license server, and then you see your improvement. It is very, very prominent of your skill rising with time.
And to add on to that a little bit here as well, as you're going to start off with TRACKILICIOUS, I highly would recommend that. Also, as one of the branch-off communities of TRACKILICIOUS, actually from the Rookie League, was the Noobs Are Us community. So if you look for Jeremy Covage in the TRACKILICIOUS Discord, they run a Noobs Are Us series where they actually have a program that teaches drivers how to drive basically from square one. So they're going to be a good shout for them. Make sure you tell them that I say hi if you do end up swinging by there, as they have an awesome community, the Noobs Are Us guys. And like I say, they really help out and focus on the improvement side of things for the more newer drivers. And if you are in that category, that is where I would really recommend you go. But like I said, they also do race in the Rookie League, of course. The TRACKILICIOUS, they are a branch off of that. So starting there, getting your hours in, just getting your laps in, driving on tracks by yourself, you know, throw some music on, get out there and just practice. And also never apologize about asking questions. It doesn't matter the time of the race. This is, like I say, we appreciate all the questions, because if you are asking this question, you are not the only one, and I appreciate every question that you guys do ask. So thank you so much for just being here, and like I say, and I really hope you find your place in our leagues and find a nice spot and have some improvement later on, and we see you up here in these GT3 championships. Oh, also, yes, the Rookie Leagues and GT4s, not GT3s. I don't think we mentioned that. And Commerce, dog, appreciate you just being here. So, hey, like I say, that is just, I feel like, the bare minimum that I can do here in the booth. So, thank you guys for participating and making these leagues possible.
That's the final lap of the race. Wilson Fernandez in the lead.
Yes, indeed. We're going to shut up now about that for now, as yes, the last lap, 3.5 miles to decide the winner of this race. Wilson Fernandez took it on the last lap. Is he going to hold on? Andrei Porshikov here. Why don't we ride on board? You can see him. He's eager, gaining, under braking as he comes around the first corner complex now, heading into Dupont. Or excuse me, Ducamp. That's Virage Ducamp, my bad. And now heading on to the Mistral Straight. This will be his best overtaking opportunity, but is a little bit far back to make anything happen, I think. Fernandez deserves the win, says Murphy. Fernandez, a very talented driver. You can see there, TC Map 0, the aggression coming out here for Andre. Full power deliverance. Bit of an incident from behind. We're going to focus, though, on this at hand, as this is deciding here at the final moments. That Andre getting a bit out of shape. Seesong, but deep goes Wilson Fernandez. That's going to give the inside line here straight to Andrei Porshikov. It's going to quickly, though, turn to the outside for the next corner. It's going to be a while till we get up to it, though. Wilson should hold the position. Is going to for now. The switcheroo, though, for the McLaren, but he gets out of shape. He hits the curb. That unsettles the car, doesn't allow the momentum to carry. And Dan, we're running out of corners here, but a big send, the 696 onto the inside. Dan,
going to defend.
Oh my goodness. I think Andre has done it on the final lap, the final few corners. What a finish to the race, a flash of the headlights out of respect from Wilson Fernandez. And my goodness, that could not have been a more intense battle. Dan, 1 hour and 30 minutes, and it came down to less than half a second at the line.
Oh, my heart. My heart can't take this, man. That was insane. Both drivers, fierce yet very respectful with each other. They saw the mistakes, and both drivers capitalized on each of those moves.
Absolutely.
We'll see what they have to say on the interview.
We still have racing happening, too. It's Ricky Scott and Steven Music. Ricky Scott getting swamped on the straight. That's the worst feeling. He's going to have a few more corners left to go, but also Marcelo Ramon to the line. Jace Wright does secure that with Casey Schutte in P6. Ladies and gentlemen, Casey Schutte has done it again. P6 for him. Great result, and his home result for him. Oh, he is going to hate me so much for saying that. Ricky Scott, though, is battling with Steven Music to the line, but washes wide as Anton Vaus is going to get the opportunity to have a look into the final few corners. We go. Steven should be walking away with this, as Ricky Scott has bigger things to contend with, and the grip is not there. Ricky is going to get overtaken by the AMG. He's off the track. I'm not sure if there was contact, but nonetheless, that will be that, I think, end decided. Steven Music will come across the line for 11th, Anton in 12th, and Ricky Scott in 13th. What a race, Dan. What a race.
Oh, I'm too breathless.
That was quite the finish. If we can get our top 3 drivers, I see we already have them working their way into the green room, so we are currently just looking for Andrei Porshikov, actually, to make his way into the green room, as we are going to head back into the booth now. So once again, welcome back, everybody, to the booth. We're going to get some replays up in the background as we speak, and then get some interviews underway. Pull that up, and we will pull our drivers now into the interview room, as we have it here. Wilson Fernandez and Bruno Pio, the 2 Brazilian drivers, up on the podium. How does it feel? Dan, why don't you take this one away, actually?
Ok. Wilson, primeiramente, parabéns aí por tudo que aconteceu nessas 2 últimas voltas. Na verdade, rapaz, essa luta aí, essa briga foi durante o quê? Uns 30 minutos. Você aí querendo essa vitória, mas infelizmente o que aconteceu aí no final não foi, talvez não foi o que você desejou, mas o que é que estava na sua cabeça, o que é que passou assim nessas 2 últimas voltas? Eu vi que você desabilitou aquele controle de tração e só foi na reta. Nos diga aí um pouquinho sobre o que aconteceu.
Oi, Daniel, boa noite. Mike. Eu nem esperava, né, esse resultado aí. Tem um Skyler muito rápido. O Porca Chove, né? Também não conhecia, muito rápido. O Rasa, acho que teve acidente. Então, pessoal bem rápido aí. Só queria acompanhar. No fim das contas, foi dando certo, né? Ele parou cedo. E com isso, eu já imaginava que ia chegar no finzinho. Ele tá com o pneu mais desgastado, né? E eu vim tirando pouco a pouco ali, depois da parada, e consegui chegar nessa luta aí. Fiquei muito atrás dele, preso, não conseguia passar na reta. A chance era no curvão ali. E no fim da reta, a hora que eu passei, ele acho que assustou, não sei, acabou perdendo um pouquinho, ponto de frenagem, escorregou, consegui passar. Mas no fim não tinha mais pneu, né, cara? Ali já tava no aro, tava difícil de segurar o carro, ainda mais brigando assim. Mas foi incrível, assim. Pra isso que a gente corre, né? Porque ganhar, ter ganho não, o importante é isso, assim, um piloto, andar com um piloto que sabe respeitar o espaço, andar bem, isso é o mais importante, né? É o que dá graça pro negócio.
Yeah, thank you, Wilson. I just asked him about how it was on those last 30 minutes to try to get through Portugal. And did I pronounce his name right? I'm sorry. I don't have the game.
Yeah, you did.
Anymore.
You did.
And he said he was losing a lot of grip. His tires were just gone, and he did capitalize a bit on Portugal's mistakes at the very end, but couldn't hold it. But yeah, a great grid to be battering out Ali Raza, Skylar Loverank, and he's has a lot of pleasure to be here in the podium. And now we go to Bruno Pill. Did the same now. Bruno, eu não sei se você acompanhou, ficou de olho aí nas estatísticas da corrida, mas Skylar Loverank, ele teve alguns problemas com tráfego e tal, e também o Ali Raza. O que é que você acha disso tudo? Primeiramente também, desculpa, parabéns, pódio, terceiro lugar. E como é que você se sente com tudo isso?
Opa, boa noite a todos. Agradeço, parabéns ao Wilson pelo segundo lugar, né? É um grid muito forte, né? Então, assim como o Wilson falou, né? A gente quer dar o melhor da gente mesmo ali, se testar, né? Infelizmente, teve o acidente do Ali Rasa, eu estava atrás deles ali, um toque ali na reta, né? E para mim o mais incrível assim, né, o que não pode acontecer foi o que aconteceu com o Skyler, né? Sofrer um acidente, né? Uma batida de um retardatário, né? Eu acho que quem está levando volta bandeira azul tem que tomar muito cuidado. Foi uma pena o que aconteceu e eu fui me aproveitando desses acidentes, né? Consegui fazer um bom pace de corrida, eu fui muito consistente no meu pace, né, naquilo que eu consigo executar de pace. Fiquei muito feliz aí com o pódio e é isso. Foi, infelizmente aconteceram os acidentes, né, e acabei aproveitando aí.
E que belo aproveito. Parabéns aí.
Valeu.
So as I was asking him and he answered, Mike, and to the viewers, I asked him about how he capitalized and if he knew about what he was capitalizing about on Skylar Loverank and Ali Raza and their incidents with other drivers and even traffic itself. And he was just proud of keeping that pace and that consistency. And that's what got him P3. He's in the podium because of that.
Yeah, rightfully so. An excellent drive from both drivers, no doubt. Unfortunately, was not able to cap the pace there of Porsche. Was gifted a little bit by Skylar Loverank's incident, but hey, you know, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. A podium result is a podium result, and big congratulations to you guys. So thank you so much for being up here on the podium and participating. Bruno and Wilson, you guys are free to go. Thank you. And
thank you, Mike. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, TRACKILICIOUS.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Dan. See you next week.
Yes, indeed. See you guys next week. Also, Porshakov in chat. Welcome. Unfortunately, not going to be able for the interview tonight. Thank you guys so much in chat for being here and a part of these races. I love you guys so much. You guys make these races so much fun. Thank you to Cronny Huff, Devin Anthony, John Hawley, Doc Milwee, Marcelo, all you guys, Forzy, Aaron Miller joining later. That's just a small little handful of the names that were in participating here tonight. So thank you guys so much for making this enjoyable. John Hawley as well. We are going to be rating tonight, and we are going to be rating Sparrow 6. So make sure you guys go check them out. They are going to be practicing some Misano. They're one of the active chatters here as well. They dropped in tonight. So please go show your love and support from TRACKILICIOUS. I appreciate it so much. Thank you as well to Dan Verçosa for co-commentating tonight and doing an excellent job of it as well with their Portuguese translations. Thank you so much, Dan.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks, everyone. See you in the next round.
Yes, indeed. I hope everyone has a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning. We will be back, of course, next week. And big thank you to our Patreon members as well. I'll leave them up here at the end of the stream. I'll leave them on screen here. Once again, go check out Sparrow. Thank you, guys. I hope you guys have a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning. Thank you. And I guess, well, hold on. I can't really do that, can I? I need this up. But yes, thank you, and good night, everybody.